Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw feed. We're streaming live on YouTube to millions worldwide, plus on Rumble and X and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Follow us on all platforms right now. Links in the description. We need you there because big tech can pull the plug anytime. Now, what makes this show different? Well, we interact with you, the viewers, getting your real-time reactions to the day's explosive news. Your voice matters here. So share the stream right now via text message to bypass the algorithm. X viewers repost the show to your followers immediately. You could also download the Next News Network app for breaking news alerts 24/7. Android users, grab it on Google Play. iPhone users, hit it in the App Store. Links below. Stay connected when they try to disconnect us. We're going to be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments, featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we officially begin. Keep them flowing throughout the show. And if you want to support the show privately, donation links are in the description. Give, Send, Go, or PayPal. Every dollar keeps truth alive when they want it buried. You can also show off your favorite news source. Check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Otto Penn, and our American Badass series, where you can wear the truth. Also, join our YouTube channel memberships for exclusive perks, special acknowledgement in the chat, unlock access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes uploads, and our members-only Discord running 24/7. Each level brings new benefits, so hit the join button. Today is September 11th, a date burned into our national soul. 24 years ago, Islamic terrorists murdered 2,977 Americans, and as the towers fell, but from that ash rose an unstoppable spirit. We united, flags appeared on every home, resolve hardened every heart. Today, that same American resolve faces its gravest test since that terrible morning, not from foreign terrorists, but from violence within. The parallels to that day of unity are striking as we face new divisions. Charlie Kirk lies dead, assassinated by a sniper while speaking at a university. The FBI has recovered the weapon, inscribed with messages. They have video footage, forensic evidence, and they're conducting a massive manhunt. The investigation is active and is urgent. Iryna Zarutska, a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who fled one war zone, was murdered in Charlotte by a man with 14 prior arrests. 14. The system that should have protected her failed her catastrophically. Her death demands accountability as well. In Chicago, federal law enforcement launches Operation Midway Blitz. ICE, ATF, and National Guard units target Venezuelan gangs terrorizing American streets. Tanks rolling on railroad cars towards staging areas. Local politicians who've resisted federal help now face the reality of intervention. And in the midst of earthly turmoil, NASA has announced a stunning discovery, potential evidence of ancient microbial life on Mars. The Perseverance rover's Sapphire Canyon sample contains organic compounds that indicate past life. Congressional UAP hearings reveal new testimony about unidentified phenomena. The timings of these revelations during national crisis raises profound questions. Just as 9/11 transformed America overnight, we are witnessing another historic moment. These events, the assassination, the murder, the federal intervention, the space discoveries are reshaping our national conversation about security, justice, and our place in the universe. Today we'll examine the forensic evidence from Kirk's killing, analyze the failures that led to Zarutska's death, show footage of federal operations in Chicago, and explore what NASA's Mars discovery means for humanity. The question is whether we can find unity in seeking justice and truth as we did after 9/11, or whether these tragedies will deepen our divisions. We have 5 urgent topics, 1 critical moment in American history. The facts demand our attention. So lock in, Patriots. The next 2 hours will change everything. Let's begin by welcoming you to the show. We've got John here, Jose as well, Smathers, author, Patricia Duff, Karen Finley, Avalex LLC, in the house today. Camper 14, Tina, Karen Terry, Latino conservative. We have Cindy in Buffalo, James Fay in Cincinnati, Michael Verastro in Pennsylvania, Johnny Rodriguez, Neri Pio. We have Christopher Smith, Melanie Martin, Grace, Bobby Riesling, Lori Ollivant, Danielle Meets the Lion. We have Kristen Shirk, Daniel C., Johnny Rodriguez. Everybody's filing in today. It's been a really difficult day for me, just trying to process everything. I feel like I've been in a cloud. Still can't even fathom that this is where we are right now as a country, or even those events yesterday occurred. But people are responding. Vigils are breaking out across the country. As you know, Charlie Kirk was a resident of Illinois and started his first office in Lamont. And there's a vigil that's taking place tonight, I believe right now, actually, in Lamont. Let's see, yes. Tonight from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., so it should be starting right now. Village Park, 322 Main Street, Lamont, occurring right now at his very first office. So I'm going to try to keep it together for you guys tonight because I know that's what Charlie would want. But I do wear my emotions on my sleeve, so it's hard for me sometimes in these types of moments to not just be me. We're all Charlie Kirk now, all of us. And we have a mission now. And what we witnessed yesterday is the turning point. It is the turning point in this country. And a prophetic name for an organization that Charlie Kirk founded, Turning Point. What was it? Well, now we know what the turning point is. And it is his assassination, which has echoed across the world. Across the world. So all we can do at this moment is pray that this moment is a turning point for positivity, healing, and exposing all of the dangerous rhetoric from the left that has encouraged these types of actions. I was talking with Todd, our producer, about how to handle today. Our Boyd, thank you for that. Yes, we know Lance, VP Vance landed in Phoenix with Charlie. I know. We have some video from that we'll be showing in a moment. Thank you for that. Now, how to handle the news today, because everything else just seems so trivial with respect to the gravity of what we're experiencing here. So, the show must go on. I was talking with Angie, and we were trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we handle the news today? And Charlie would have wanted us just to keep going, keep moving forward. Don't stop. And that's exactly what we're going to do here as we move forward. So just bear with me. We do have our advertisers that we have to accommodate as well. So if you notice that we have ads inserted into some of these topics, that's only because we have obligations, and those obligations allow us to continue to present you with this news and information. So without our sponsors, we cannot do this show. So it's not to be insensitive to the moment. It is to fulfill an obligation so we can continue to give you the news and information that you rely on. Okay, so Brian, let's get into the first topic here. A conservative icon is dead, shot by a sniper from a rooftop perch at Utah Valley University. Now the most intense manhunt in America is underway. The FBI has recovered critical evidence, a bolt-action rifle, ammunition with inscriptions, forensic traces, including palm prints and footprints. They have high-quality video footage of the suspect's movements we're going to show you. Yet despite these leads, the shooter remains at large. What began as a campus speaking event ended in tragedy, sending shockwaves throughout the political world. Federal agencies are mobilizing every resource to track down the killer. The investigation details paint a picture of a carefully planned and precise execution. What happens next could change everything, so stay with us. Now, friends, even as we mourn this terrible loss, we must continue supporting the sponsors who enable us to bring you the uncensored truth, so your patience during this brief message is deeply appreciated. Imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future, and that's what the vision behind Western Star Resources is. Western Star Resources is an experienced, publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record in advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geological expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise, and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. Check them out. The link is in the description, westernstarresources.com, and we thank them for supporting this program so that we can continue bringing you the news that needs to be told. So President Trump has weighed in on the manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer outside of the Oval Office.
They'll get
Do you believe the killer was a trained assassin? Usually your instincts are always on.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did, was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
Do you believe the killer was a
More news is coming out regarding the assassin on Fox News. John Solomon says foreign intelligence was involved in Charlie Kirk's shooting, but he says it in a very passing manner. Listen.
Hot leads is a little bit, and we all lost, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, we lost something important in America today. But the case goes on, the investigation goes on. There's a lot of piecing of evidence together. We don't have a shooter tonight. We have a couple leads, a couple people that were released that probably aren't the shooter. There's a couple hot leads. There's a little bit of foreign intelligence. And I think over the next couple of days, we will learn a lot more, and hopefully we will bring to justice the evil person who did what they did to Charlie today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by foreign intelligence. Maybe he's discussing the fact that we have foreign intelligence supporting the investigation. Here's the FBI discussing the images of the suspect. We do have those.
So perhaps he the building, fleeing into a neighborhood, and they're asking neighbors in that area if they have doorbell cameras to turn over anything that may produce an image. What they didn't say is whether or not he ran there on foot or drove a car. But later they said, we do have good video of this individual. We are confident in our abilities. And with regard to that, they say they have footwear prints. So perhaps he was on foot, and also palm prints. And they asked for any video and images tipped to the website there. This is a bolt-action rifle. It is manually operated. It is extremely accurate. And according to a lot of gun experts, it has fewer moving parts, which would give the killer an opportunity to take a more accurate shot. And based on the graphic images that the world saw yesterday afternoon, that shot was a kill shot. It took one, and Charlie Kirk barely had a chance of survival.
I think it was a good idea.
Here is the visual. Vice President Vance carrying Charlie Kirk's coffin after landing back in Charlie's home of Phoenix, Arizona. clarify, this was actually video of them going to Phoenix. You can see in the background the hangar, Utah hangar, clearly makes that distinction. Now, we do have some video here we have to take a look at. Now, this is the these are the images of the alleged shooter. These were published 8 hours ago by the FBI of Salt Lake City, asking for the public's help in identifying the person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. 1-800-CALL-FBI is the number they want people to contact. These are the images that have been released, it looks like, from security cameras, and it's still unclear exactly what is on the shirt there, but people on the internet obviously doing what the internet does. The crowdsourcing of investigation is widespread. People across multiple message boards, reverse engineering, visuals, social media profiles, everything. It's remarkable to watch how people have come together to assist the FBI in this. Now, some are alleging that the shooter's name, now I have to be careful here because we don't know if this is the actual person, but they're stating this person's name is Sky Veladez of Ogden, Utah, part of a trans activist gun group. Now, you can see in this post here, looks like this person perhaps may have debated Charlie Kirk in the past. So I have not seen the video of this moment where this individual asked Charlie Kirk a question or when it happened. But it does look like it's, there are similarities here. Now, more people are alleging this is the high school photo of Sky Veladez, who did have a song called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 on his SoundCloud account. She, her pronouns on Facebook, lives in Salt Lake City metro area. So people are actively tracking down this individual's socials, which are quickly being deleted, which is curious. This post states I was able to get this from Facebook page of Sky Veladez before they took it down. Do what social media investigators do with this type of info. And it looks like it's a picture, screenshots of the alleged shooter's friends list. So people are going to be quickly cross-referencing all those friends and the individual. And of course, CNN does what CNN does. Nick Sortor posting that CNN is censoring the fact that the Charlie Kirk shooter's firearm had transgender writings on it. They're calling them cultural writings. And it's absolutely shameful how CNN continues to just scrub the truth from the American people.
Today, as they said, a lot to go on. Today, as they say, key breakthroughs, but the manhunt continues. A lot to go on. Today, as they say, key...
You can see on the screen there, the Chiron says, phrases related to cultural issues were scrawled on the rifle and ammo found near the Charlie Kirk shooting.
You've probably seen this video.
And more on the investigation done by crowdsourced individuals online. Based on public findings, this appears to be identified as the individual known as Sky Veladez of Ogden, Utah, part of a trans activist gun group who is posting a digital album, Death to American Scum and Charlie Kirk is Dead to Me. Screenshots show some of the investigation here. This clearly appears to have the same visual representation of the close-circuit camera. The hat, the sunglasses seem to be a match with what we saw there. Now, this is the dispatch audio from the frantic moments after Charlie Kirk was shot.
Black is going to be wearing all black black long gun, black tactical helmet, a black mask, possibly wearing a tactical vest and jeans, is going.
Now, this is the footage that has been released. TMZ releasing the video showing the Charlie Kirk assassination suspect walking towards the campus. Now, I was talking with Todd and Brian about this video. As you know, they are part of our production team here at Next News. And I noticed immediately the person walking with the limp. Now, it's what's believed, the reason he's walking with the limp is that he had the gun hidden in his pants, the rifle hidden in the pants. But you can see this is what you're looking at now is video after the shooting of the alleged assassin running and hiding behind bushes and emerging here. So we'll take this a little bit larger for you so you can see. This is the TMZ video. Now keep your eyes close to the T, the top of the T, as you saw the alleged shooter running behind what appeared to be like a storage container or a dumpster. There is the shooter emerging from behind the home, now running with shorts on. Take another look at this video. Now you can see the shooter again. This is prior to the shooting, walking curiously and very likely concealing the weapon as they are walking towards the campus. Yeah, in the second part of the video, there is no limp from the alleged shooter walking away. See, the person's walking freely, crouched, clearly in an effort to conceal their position. I mean, the person who's running in the back there just looks guilty, the way that they're hiding. But this is the video that has now been released. TMZ securing this video, so you're seeing it perhaps for the first time. And just hope we can find this person. Some have told me that they're not going to find this person, that this person was part of a larger group of people who did this in a fashion that was professional. A lot of people are saying this was a professional hit. Now this account is showing this is the gun that was discovered, and they make it a point to discuss the rounds that were used, close to a NATO round. He was shot from 200 yards away with a 30-06 round fired from a high-powered hunting rifle. At that distance, with a reliable rifle and a 30-06 round, even an experienced shooter could easily hit a target. Some people who have never handled a firearm are claiming the bullet ricocheted off the body armor. That's not true and not possible. To understand why, look at the difference between the smaller NATO 5.56 and the larger 30-06 rounds. The 30-06 are larger, heavier, and more powerful. It doesn't dent body armor, goes straight through almost any vest available to civilians. The 30-06 struck the neck, passed clean through, and exited the other side, probably buried itself in the ground or in something behind him. The sheer power of the 30-06 makes it clear that no civilian vest could have stopped this shot. Attached is the image of the rifle the killer used to murder Charlie. So, you can see the different calibers here. I believe that the one in the middle is a 308. Now, I'm not a gun expert, so I don't know the specifics with respect to these rounds, but I believe that's what we're looking at here, is the 308 Winchester round, which is believed to be the caliber that was shot. Over on Blue Sky, the celebrations of Charlie's death continue, to the point where even Blue Sky, according to Newsweek, has issued warnings to users celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, people are believing that this was a professional. This one here states, no way, this wasn't a planned assassination. He was shot by a professional sniper. Not many normal people can shoot a gun from 200 meters with the accuracy that shooter had. It was planned, and it was definitely a hitman, that Charlie Kirk, that killed Charlie. Now, if we take into account, before I go back to that this person was part of a trans activist gun group, then it's very easy to believe that this person trained, practiced, and could have actually pulled a shot off. So it could be this individual here who just practice and practice and practice. Other people arguing the professional shooter, some of alleged foreign nations are involved. That's unclear. But here's an eyewitness. An eyewitness says the shot that took the life of Charlie Kirk was fired right after he was asked about trans violence, as if it were coordinated. Now, I don't want to get into, conspiracies surrounding this, and I don't want to, I've seen people argue about rings and things that are fake, and it just makes me so disgusted that people just immediately jump to these conclusions. And listen, we have to look at the facts on the ground. And, doing a frame-by-frame analysis of a frickin' ring is just a waste of time. And it only serves to, I don't know what it serves in certain people's minds when they want to keep investigating. But, this person clearly believes it was coordinated, like they were waiting for him to say these words, and then they took the shot. I don't think that the shooter could have even heard what was being said. Maybe he could have. Was he waiting for that moment? I don't know. Was he waiting for the perfect opportunity to take the shot when a question was raised? It certainly is possible. Let's listen.
After I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that. But nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw because everyone was squirming.
Did you see anybody fire a shot?
I didn't see anyone fire a shot. I think it had to come from an elevated position for sure.
Okay, so to listen to this eyewitness account, it could have been clearly coordinated. That if this is a trans activist gun group, then they could have easily planted individuals in the crowd to ask the question, so that when the question was asked, that the shooter would know, okay, this person's walking up. He knows that the person who's going to ask the question, that the question is going to be raised, so that soundbite is echoing throughout history. So that way, that was their cue. And then, of course, there was an individual who was apprehended, several actually, on the scene, which could have served as a diversion so that the shooter could escape. So, I mean, it's not outside the realm of reality for a activist group to coordinate something of this nature from within their circles. So it doesn't have to be a professional hit. It can just be a coordinated action by a radical trans activist group. CNN refers to the trans and anti-fascist ideology as cultural phrases because the shooter was on their side. Big Tom Callahan writing. Here's the headline: Federal officials probe rifle and ammo scrawled with cultural phrases after Charlie Kirk killing. Charlie Kirk, person of interest, seen on video heading towards campus. We showed you that video. Given the distance of the shot, 150 yards, this rifle easily capable of that shot. If the memo is true, this was a professional. This was a professional hit. Dialogue needs to stop. So, taking a look at the location of the shooter and the images of where the shooter was, you can see clear line of sight, and sadly, just by the layout of the campus, Charlie did not stand a chance. There were just too many locations for a shooter to position themselves. 128.1 meters. So that's the visual analysis. Some more video here of the shooter escaping the scene has now been released. We saw some of that yesterday. This looks like it may have been enhanced or another angle. As you can imagine, so many cameras were recording in that moment that I'm sure we'll find many more videos surfacing in the days ahead. Charlie Kirk's shooter, described as college age, blended with students before the attack at the university. High-powered bolt-action rifle recovered in a nearby wooded area, according to FBI reports. Authorities have footage, but withholding release as investigation continues. However, it has now been revealed. Now, Steven Crowder posted this morning. He says, this morning my team received an email from an officer at ATF. The email included a screenshot from what appears to be an internal message describing a weapon and cartridges located by ATF and other law enforcement near the scene of the Charlie Kirk shooting. And this is the actual screenshot that was sent to Louder with Crowder. So this is the full message that was written on September 10th at approximately 12:24 p.m. Conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University, Orem, Utah. Kirk was speaking at the university as part of the American Comeback Tour. Multiple SLC 1 and 3 agents responded immediately. Suspect fired one shot from an elevated position on a rooftop in an adjacent building on the campus, and surveillance video shows the suspect jumping off and fleeing the area on foot. ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. The spent cartridge was still chambered in addition to 3 unspent rounds at the top-fed magazine. All cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. An emergency trace has been submitted to ATF. SLC is working. An ATF SLC is working leads generated by the trace. The firearm and ammunition have been taken by the FBI for DNA analysis and fingerprint impressions. Upon completion of forensics, the firearm will be disassembled for additional importer information. Multiple people of interest have contacted or detained because of eyewitness testimony and review of the video footage. The primary suspect is yet to be identified. ATF is assisting the investigation with multiple other federal, state, and local partners, and the case is co-led by the FBI and the Utah SBI. Here's more from another image of the rifle that was found. The gun was left in place. The shooter knew the authorities would find it quickly with engravings linking them to trans ideology. This is the gun. Pictures of the engraved ammo are yet to be released. New York Post headline, Killer Intentions. Gun recovered in Charlie Kirk assassination revealed ammo had pro-trans, anti-fascist engravings. FBI releasing these photos. Again, we have these here. Now we have this from Lindell TV. Photos released from the shooter's sniper's nest in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Authorities have released photos showing the shooter's point of view as Charlie Kirk spoke at Utah Valley University. The vantage point matches the viral video from yesterday that appeared to show someone moving on the roof overlooking the event. The FBI confirmed they have recovered forearm imprints from the site for analysis as part of the ongoing investigation. So here is the, you can see that little white piece of paper and the vantage point of the shooter with the tent where Charlie was assassinated. Here's a close-up visual of this is the appears to be the evidence marker, and I believe that each of these arrows is pointing to the imprints of the shooter as evidence markers pointing to the locations where the shooter crouched and took his position. Here's more from the video of the shooter. You can see across the top. So this guy says, if you think Charlie was killed by a radical lefty, you're mistaken. Not sure if I want to entertain this. However, we have this. 4chan identified another possible suspect. Name Jack Bellows is the allegation here. Lives in Utah, very politically active, co-chair of Democrat Socialists of America. Ran for local office, was disqualified, posted about Charlie Kirk online. So they're posting these visuals of this person that they believe could also be the shooter. Again, these are allegations, and this person should be presumed innocent until guilty. From his, looks like his social media, I'm Jack, a community organizer running for SLC Community District, Council District 6, Solidarity, Accountability, and Prosperity for All. And this appears to be the social media profile. This looks like his X page. Hick in Mormonland. I'm a southern boy in Utah. In a Utah world suffering from chronic resting bitch face. That is the bio line on the account. He reposted Charlie Kirk on May 25th of 2022. Charlie Kirk wrote at the time, "Don't allow emotions to dictate gun policy. Tyrants would love nothing more than to capitalize on an evil tragedy as an excuse to confiscate your guns and limit your ability to protect yourself." So clearly, Charlie Kirk was on this individual's radar as well. Here's some news from Fox discussing the ammunition and the palm print and footprints.
Messages only that action rifle in a wooded area. Well, now several federal sources confirmed to Fox News that messages were found written on both the gun and the ammunition here, and those messages are currently being reviewed by investigators. We can't confirm what were in those messages, only that messages were found scrawled on both the gun and the ammunition that investigators have found, and that is under review right now. That gun will be having what's known as an urgent trace by the ATF. That is when they're going to try to find out where the gun was purchased, when it was purchased, what the possible chain of custody was. Keep in mind, the FBI also announcing earlier this morning they found a partial palm print. They also found some footprints, and they do have good surveillance video of the suspect. They just say they're not going to be releasing that video right now. They say those images show that person, whoever it is, jumping off a building and running off into a neighborhood, and that person appears to be college-aged. But again, Harris, multiple federal sources telling Fox News that messages of some kind were found written on both the gun and the ammo, and investigators right now looking at those messages, as here we are about 20 hours after this assassination and still no suspect in custody just yet. But it sounds like investigators are hot on this person's trail. That's all we got right now. Harris will update as soon as we have more. We'll send it back to you.
Bill, thank you so very much. We are.
Okay, so here's a former Navy SEAL, former FBI special agent, says the shooter knew Charlie Kirk was going to be there, knew the area. Speculation is was a professional hit, as there were 3 assassination attempts. This one was accurate. The shooter had help. This is on Fox. Former Navy SEAL, Jonathan Gilliam.
Get on in order to shot. So they knew that Charlie Kirk was going to be there. They were familiar with that area. If they were not familiar with that area, they wouldn't just show up. I mean, the show had just begun. It was the first show in that tour. So that individual showed up and was able to gain access. That means they knew where the stage was going to be, most likely, and what building that they could get on in order to take that shot. They came dressed in case if it was a Kevlar helmet, then they were ready to get shot at. It also leads me to believe that there's a possibility they went back inside that building, took off those clothes, and exited with everyone else in the melee of the situation, because if there was only 6 police officers there, remember, Charlie's team is not responsible and cannot just shut down buildings and then occupy the whole space. That's law enforcement's job. So if there wasn't enough law enforcement there to do a proper perimeter security, then that means there wasn't enough law enforcement there to weed out the people as they ran off.
Jonathan Gilliam, thank you so much for being here this morning. I know some of your colleagues on our air from the FBI earlier this evening said this looked like to them a professional hit. And I think to Carly and I and to you as well, that is one of the major questions that's still outstanding at this point in time.
Well, can I say one thing?
Yes, sure, quickly, please.
If I gave you a set of Legos and I told you to build a house with it, you may get it wrong. But if I give you instructions, you'll eventually get it right. We've had now 3 assassination attempts. This one was actually accurate and killed Charlie Kirk, all using the same avenue of approach and the same vulnerabilities. People aren't locking these down. And so finally, somebody came there and took advantage of that and killed someone. And I think that is very important for everyone to realize that if they're going to have these events, they have to lock down the perimeter and not allow people around that area. Charlie Kirk was a civilian. So people need to realize that a civilian was killed yesterday for exercising their free speech, and largely because of people wanting him dead, but also because security failed in locking down that area.
He was killed while debating, which is what this country was founded on.
Shot.
Here we have more from the FBI. Bolt action rifle, manually operated, extremely accurate.
Individuals question. So the headline came at the end there, Dana. We have images of the suspect. That after they gave us a number of details that we were not privy to prior. So they say a number of individuals questioned, they've been released, they asked for privacy for them. At 11:52 a.m. Utah time, they tracked the suspect to that building. They later, after the shooting, tracked him jumping off the building, fleeing into a neighborhood. And they're asking neighbors in that area if they have doorbell cameras to turn over anything that may produce an image. What they didn't say is whether or not he ran there on foot or drove a car. But later they said, we do have good video of this individual. We are confident in our abilities. And with regard to that, they say they have footwear prints. So perhaps he was on foot, and also palm prints. And they asked for any video and images tipped to the website there. This is a bolt action rifle. It is manually operated. It is extremely accurate. And according to a lot of gun experts, it has fewer moving parts, which would give the killer an opportunity to take a more accurate shot.
The FBI is offering a reward up to $100,000 for information leading to identification and arrest of the individual or individuals responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk on September 10th, 2025, Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Contact 1-800-CALL-FBI and submit your photos and information. People have done AI enhancements to the closed-circuit still frames that were released. I wouldn't trust these because the AI is going to insert facial features that may not be accurate. And then we have Joe Rogan actually weighing in on this as well with Charlie Sheen discussing the initial CNN report where they talked about ridiculously saying that they shot the gun, someone shot a gun off in the air in celebration or something.
What a crazy
Shooting like this happens.
You can put the headphones on. You can hear
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about.
That's what the crazy thing was.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, if it was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration.
What? Someone shot their gun off in celebration and killed him.
You shoot celebration guns in the air.
Oh, God.
Just,
what a crazy take. Like, it might not have been someone assassinating someone for the wrong opinion.
Huh.
Fuck.
Well, why does something like that have to be spun?
Their ideology.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's like...
I mean, they want to try to pin it on a Trump supporter with a crazy Trump supporter with a gun.
Right.
Going wacky.
Of course.
We don't know if it was a supporter shooting off a gun in celebration. Because, you know, they do that.
Right.
A lot of folks are just constantly out there shooting off guns at large gatherings in celebration.
Yeah, 4th of July, you can't leave your house.
What the fuck?
Shooting like this happens.
You can put the headphones.
Now, that person from MSNBC, we're learning, has now been relieved of their employment there as an MSNBC contributor. Stephen Crowder, FBI corroborating multiple details that were included in the memo that Crowder received this morning.
FBI laboratory. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe.
And of course, on the left, stand-up comics praising the demise of Charlie Kirk. Absolutely shameful. As you can imagine, I'm receiving countless messages of support and concern for my own well-being. As Charlie Kirk and I ran in a lot of the same circles. If you go to my, see if I can bring up my personal Facebook page, I'll show you some of the images of Charlie and I here. I posted this 8 hours ago. Charlie Kirk's assassination is the turning point. You'll be missed, my friend. May the deep seeds you planted bear fruit from the tree of liberty. And the picture on the top there is when I interviewed Charlie at CPAC in 2020. And this second image here is when I met President Trump in Milwaukee. Charlie Kirk's presence, larger than life, quite literally. His stature could not be missed. And I remember meeting him there. And this image here was taken at a book signing where Charlie Kirk gave a speech. Angie and I had the privilege of sitting at the head table with him having dinner with him. And I've been frantically looking for the video I took from that day. I still can't find it. I remember asking him a question and the remarks he made, but I can't find the video, sadly. But some of the moments that I did have with Charlie that I will never forget. So this is an ongoing situation. We're going to continue to monitor everything, bring you more information as it becomes available. But if you did find value from this and you want to support and stay informed, please. It feels so trivial to be like, oh, subscribe and like and comment, but anyway, time for my final thought. So the investigation is moving at breakneck speed. The FBI has assembled significant evidence: the rifle, inscribed ammunition, palm prints, footprints, shoe impressions, high-quality video footage. They've tracked the shooter's movements from arrival at 11:52 a.m. through the rooftop access to the wooded escape route. Federal agencies are coordinating resources in what's become one of the most intensive manhunts in recent memory. Stephen Crowder's leaked ATF memo matches details the FBI leader confirmed, showing information is flowing through multiple channels. The precision of the shot and the planned escape demonstrate this wasn't spontaneous. This took preparation. Former Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam noted the shooter knew Kirk's schedule and the terrain. Every law enforcement resource is being deployed to find this killer. So here is the question. Will the extensive forensic evidence and video footage lead to a quick arrest, or will this manhunt stretch on for weeks? Let's continue the conversation. And of course, if you have any information, contact the FBI. Quite a few super chats have come in as we are continuing this special edition of the Raw Feed in memory of Charlie Kirk. Frank Bailey dropping $10 says, let Charlie's light shine on us and carry us through. Much love all. Melanie Martin, $2. Thank you, Melanie, for your support. Lori Olivent, $10. Charlie would want us to show love and unite together. Violence is not an option for us. We are Charlie Kirk. Miami Dolphin also giving $10. Thanks, Gary, for what you do. It clearly is important. We keep you safe. Side note, I was a delegate in Utah. I witnessed Lyman win the nomination, yet lose by a small amount of signatures. Some of them were fake. Free Speech for Life, contributing $5. Just called Progressive. My car insurance company told them if they don't pull their ad revenue from MSNBC for expressing glee over Charlie Kirk's murder, I will switch insurance, and you should too. Thank you for those remarks, everybody, and your support of our show. We have some footage that has just come in from the event. Thomas McCullough on the scene, giving us some firsthand visuals of the events in Lamont, Illinois. We're going to go into our next topic now. Vigils are erupting across America. Crowds are singing Amazing Grace. Families embracing in tears. A nation united in grief for a man who preached unity but died from division. From the president's personal phone call to spontaneous TikTok testimonies, the outpouring reveals something deeper than politics. This is not just about losing a conservative leader. This is about losing a voice that could still find common ground in a world gone mad. The tributes expose a truth the killers never expected, that Charlie Kirk's message was bigger than any bullet. His death has awakened something that they tried to destroy. And what comes next will determine everything. So keep on watching. Now, patriots, even in moments of national grief, we must honor our commitments to the sponsors who keep independent media alive. So thank you for understanding as we we present this ad. Imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future, and that's the vision behind Western Star Resources. Western Star Resources is an experienced publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record in advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geological expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise, and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. Check them out. The link in the description, westernstarresources.com. And again, it is because of our sponsors that we are able to continue to present you this information. It's not out of insensitivity, but they do support our work. And now we have video just coming in from Thomas McCullough, who is on the scene at the candlelight vigil in Lamont, Illinois. Some of the signs from the heartbroken youth in Lamont holding signs in memory of Charlie Kirk. Your legacy will live on. Charlie Kirk, an Illinois resident, as am I. Next News Network was on site at the beginning of the candlelight vigil. Hundreds and hundreds of people. Hundreds and hundreds of people on site to remember Charlie Kirk. This is the original Turning Point USA office location in Lamont. Thank you, Tom, for bringing us this video. Here's the opening prayer and the crowd beginning to grow in Lamont. Charlie Kirk Vigil. This is it started at 7 p.m. Central Time, and it was to go for an hour.
Lord, we come to you today. We come to you humbly. We thank you for our blessing. We thank you for your guidance. We may not understand everything that you do, Lord, but we know that it's done in your time and it is done correctly. It will always be perfect. Now we thank you, Father, for the blessings that you will give the Kirk family that you've already bestowed upon them, as well as the blessings that you have bestowed upon the men and women of 9/11. We also thank you for the blessings we have in this country, that you've given us the strength to continue forward and to do the right thing, Lord, in your name. We continue to spread the message in which Charlie started with, that you guided him so strongly to do. To continue to have our debates and to have them in a cordial manner. We will continue to fight the good fight. And we pray now, Lord, that your peace comes upon this nation, and that we will once again become like brother and sister. Neighbors will treat each other as neighbors. And we can move forward in love. We pray all this in your Son's name, Jesus. And we thank you.
Amen. Just a scene from one of the many vigils that are breaking out across the country. Michael Schellenberger weighing in, dropping the hammer, saying what the media will never admit about Charlie Kirk's assassination is not about a deranged shooter, it's about the entire malignant culture that made political violence inevitable.
These in particular, look, I think it's not likely to happen, but the people that did this dehumanization need to take responsibility for it. I don't think that it's good enough to just express lament about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I think the media, the left, the universities in particular, need to own up to the fact that they participated in the very dehumanization that they, for decades, had been criticizing when done by people on the right. So I don't think that healing is going to be possible until there's some acknowledgement of really decade-long dehumanization of roughly half of the country. Look, I think...
And we've been seeing it, the rhetoric, the violent rhetoric of the left has been ongoing since, Hillary Clinton, President Trump's, 2016 election. Here's Barack Obama posting this 24 hours ago. We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. But this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife Erica and their 2 young children. Well, what motivated that killer was the rhetoric from people in Barack Obama's circle, Barack Obama's party. That's what motivated them. And they dehumanize people like myself, people like Charlie, people like President Trump, so that these moments occur. We have this here. Senator Chuck Schumer, Derek Hunter writes that you play this card when you know it was someone on your team, maybe even an activist your team inspired who did it. Off the press posting this, Senator Chuck Schumer is upset President Trump blamed the radical left for the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
What happened? Bottom line is, this is a time that all Americans should come together and feel and mourn what happened. Violence, which affects so many different people of so many different political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing, not pointing fingers of blame. Bottom line is, this is a time...
No, we need to point fingers and blame, because only then will we have justice. President Trump responding to a question outside the Oval Office. How do you want your supporters to respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of nonviolence. Here's the president's response.
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of nonviolence and free speech on campus. How do you want your supporters to respond, sir?
I think that way. He was an advocate of nonviolence. That's the way I'd like to see people respond.
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of nonviolence and free speech on campus. How do you want your supporters to respond, sir?
I think that way. He was an advocate of nonviolence. That's the way I'd like to see people respond.
How do you want to see your...
Here's more. The president's remarks outside the Oval Office.
Not really. I'm really concerned for our country. We have a great country. We have a radical left group of lunatics out there, just absolute lunatics, and we're going to get that problem solved. I'm only concerned for the country.
Now, if you think about what happened, remember when Big Balls was assaulted in Washington, D.C.? What did President Trump do? His response was to clean up Washington, D.C. He saw a member of his own team brutally attacked on the streets of Washington, D.C. He dispatched the National Guard to clean up the city as a result. And what we're seeing now, and I'm speculating here, is, see, Big Balls was a member of the administration working under the Doge Group with Elon Musk. President Trump did not have a long relationship with that person, but he did have a long relationship with Charlie Kirk. And if you could extrapolate the reaction of President Trump with Big Balls attack in D.C., but to apply that same type of reaction to somebody President Trump knew personally on the national level, I think that what we might see next is even more unprecedented with respect to crackdown on the violent rhetoric of the left. And, I mean, the crackdown in D.C., but apply that to the national stage. We already know President Trump is launching initiatives in Chicago. Of course, those initiatives were already planned, but I think that these types of initiatives are going to be even more aggressive. Some whack job just spray painted "Kill all Charlie Kirks" on the Seattle Central College sign. This is obviously a threat, but what the far left doesn't realize that this madness is actually catalyzing reasonable Americans now to say we are all Charlie Kirk. President Trump today visually shaken. You can see it visibly here. His face says it all from this morning as he walked to present a message at the White House today. President Trump, I don't know. Here's President Trump talking about Charlie Kirk receiving the Medal of Freedom.
Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big. Before we begin, let me express
the Medal of Freedom will be given to Charlie posthumously. Here we have this. Governor Ron DeSantis announcing an investigation into any teacher who celebrated Charlie Kirk's tragic murder. Multiple individuals posting horrendous messages online, and even members of our own military. So we're seeing that Ron DeSantis is not going to allow this type of rhetoric or celebration to proceed. A lot of people getting fired over their remarks on social media. Knee-jerk reactions, disgusting knee-jerk reactions from people. Charlie Kirk's official X account posting this 6 hours ago. Charlie Kirk emerging at a Turning Point event to smoke and fireworks. 1993 to 2025. I always thought it was remarkable when Charlie started these events with the fireworks and the smoke and the presentation and the excitement at all these Turning Point events. It was so bold and so fresh, and it presented a new way for the youth to get excited about politics, like a rock concert, the things he would do. This is the official statement from Turning Point. Every one of us at Turning Point is crushed and devastated by the hateful murder of our founder and guiding light, Charlie Kirk. All of us have lost a leader, a mentor, and a friend. Above it all, our hearts are with Erica and their 2 children. Charlie was the ideal husband and the perfect father. Above all else, we ask you to pray for the Kirks after their incomprehensible loss they have suffered. More than anyone, Charlie believed in the power of argument and good faith debate to find the truth and guide people towards, if not agreement, then at least a mutual understanding. Charlie was no stranger to threats. He received thousands throughout his life, but he always prioritized reaching as many young Americans as possible over his own personal safety. Now, Charlie has become America's greatest martyr to the freedom of speech he so adored. In his 31 years, Charlie lived more than any of us will in 100. He had an overwhelming passion for life and a deep belief in his power as an individual to make a difference. With the spirit of a pioneer, Charlie launched Turning Point out of his parents' garage as an 18-year-old with no money, no name recognition, only a dream. His energy and drive were awe-inspiring, without equal and deeply infectious. Charlie refused to squander a single day of his life. He was a natural builder and problem solver who loved a challenge and saw every setback as a chance to learn, grow, pray, and try again. He was fundamentally decent, always eager to make new friends and allies and to support and defend the ones he had already made. His values were timeless, American ones: honesty, forthrightness, duty, loyalty, and fair play. That posted to his official X profile 6 hours ago. President Trump has also signed a proclamation honoring the memory of Charlie Kirk, a champion of liberty and an American patriot. Proclamation on September 10th. Less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk was gunned down, Democrat Rep. Seth Moulton attacks right-wing extremists as the cause of the vast majority of political violence in the country. We need to be honest as a nation about where this violence is coming from. Then he adds the obligatory attacks on conservatives and guns. Absolutely loathsome and vile. This is the Democrat Party Western Lensman clipping this.
And by and large saying we all need to turn down the rhetoric. So let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists. I condemn that 4%, but we also need to be honest as a nation about where this violence is coming from. And oh, by the way, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about guns, too. You hear a lot of conservatives saying, hey, the only thing we need to do here is get more guns on the street. That's not going to solve this problem. That's going to make it worse. By and large saying we all need to turn down the rhetoric. So let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists.
You see what he's doing here? He's trying to highlight some statistics that were probably manufactured to meet the narrative. What are you trying to say here? That this was a right-wing extremist? The facts don't go in your favor here, sir. They found etchings of anti-fascist and trans messaging on the bullets. Clearly, this individual was left-wing, radicalized. Yeah, you condemn the 4%, but we're talking about this specific moment.
I condemn that 4%, but we also need to be honest about it as a nation about where this violence is coming from.
And violence is coming from the violent rhetoric of the left, who is constantly attacking us. Even in Europe, conservatives, they write here, Dominique Tarczynski writes, as conservatives, we requested a minute of silence in the European Parliament to honor Charlie Kirk. The left, calling themselves Democrats, naturally refused. They're the same everywhere. Even in the face of death, they're incapable of showing human compassion. Therefore, I will organize an exhibition in the European Parliament commemorating Charlie Kirk. His legacy will bear fruit.
Madam President, dear colleagues, the murder of political activist Charlie Kirk, a husband, loving father, and patriot, has shocked the world. We must strongly condemn political violence and rhetoric that incites violence. Please stand with me in reflection and prayer in his honor, and I yield the rest of my time for a moment of silence.
Herr Kollege Weimers, wir haben abgesprochen und Sie wissen, dass die Präsidentin hat eine Schweigeminute abgelehnt. Wir fahren daher fort. Wir kommen zum Bericht von Herrn Stefano Bonaccini. Die Präsidentin hat die Schweigeminute abgelehnt. Bericht von Herrn Stefano Bonaccini zur Zusammenarbeit zwischen Durchsetzungsbehörden im Hinblick auf unlautere Handelspraktiken in der Agrar- und Lebensmittelversorgungskette. Abstimmung, Eintritt in die interinstitutionellen Verhandlungen. Wer ist dafür? Wer ist dagegen? Wer enthält sich? Angenommen.
I mean, these scenes are just like what we saw yesterday on the House floor when Lauren Boebert asked for a moment of silence and prayer, and the Democrats objected, screaming out no. And this is the type of action. These people have no soul and no ability to even hold a moment of silence. Don Lemon on the streets already. NRM 84 says Don Lemon is frothing at the mouth over this. He is a pile of excrement.
Do you know Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, I do.
And what do you think of what happened to him?
You know, sometimes revenge is a dish best served cold. I hate to celebrate someone's death, but when you talk about guns rights and you talk about how much the Second Amendment matters to you and it impacts you, like, what do you expect, you know? Sympathies to his family, but this is why we need gun control.
One of my friends said on social media he died in a world that he wanted.
Yeah, he said it himself, right? There's a whole quote that's been floating around about, like, sacrifices were made for the Second Amendment to still exist, or something along those lines, right? It's an ad-lib, but yeah, this is what happens. You reap what you sow, and, you know, it's sad that someone died, but also, hey, you know?
What do you say to people who might say that you're unsympathetic and you need to be more human about it?
I don't know. Reread slavery, rewatch Roots. There are so many different eras of American history in America where worse things have happened to people. And, you know, and we've turned a blind eye. You want us to erase the Confederacy. You want us to erase all these different things. But why should I have more sympathy with someone that you don't know pain, really? This is the worst thing you could think of. You don't understand what other people have gone through.
Do you think that this will make a difference with getting people to actually sit down and talk about some sensible gun laws?
No, unfortunately not.
I'm not even going to entertain that anymore. It's not about gun laws. It's about the temperature and the language of the left, such as this guy. MSNBC analyst Matthew Dowd now fired over Charlie Kirk comments after the assassination. David Portnoy writing good riddance. But make no mistake about it, he probably voiced how many of the intolerant left feel. They just weren't dumb enough to say it out loud on television. New York Post reporting, Matthew Dowd has now been fired for his comments. MSNBC quick to respond after those remarks and apologizing for them, and now Dowd has been fired. Representative Nancy Mace posting that Greenville County schools, we believe you may have some explaining to do. No one celebrating the loss of a human life should be allowed anywhere near children. And mostly peaceful memes presenting one of the teachers appears to be openly celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers to his children, but in my honest opinion, America became greater today. There, I said it. That is what Win Bo posted on their social media. Southside High School Social Studies Department. Absolutely disgusting. Bryn Holland, writing the assassin who killed Charlie, thought he was going to shut us up and said he woke us up. Charlie's crime was simple, championing civil discourse. They couldn't stand it. If he taught us anything, one conversation can change a life. Enough conversations can change a nation.
Not quitters. That murdered my friend Charlie Kirk yesterday thought he was silencing our generation. Instead, he woke us up. You see, Charlie believed deeply in young people, especially Gen Z. He saw potential in us, even when the culture told us we were apathetic, addicted to screens, and a lost cause. He knew that if anyone believed in us, challenged us, and gave us a chance, we could be a generation of fighters, not quitters. Charlie's crime in the eyes of his critics was simple: champion civil discourse. That was his mantra above everything else. He went to college campuses not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Time and time again, he stood in front of hostile crowds. He took hours of unfiltered questions, and he modeled something rare in American life: the belief that disagreement is not division, that speech is not violence, and that courage is contagious. He once told me something I'll never forget: the day civil discourse is extinct, a civil war starts. That wasn't hyperbole. He understood something profound about our moment in history. If Americans lose the ability to talk across differences, the alternative is chaos. Now, sadly, we're inching towards that day. For over a decade now, the left branded Charlie as a villain. They smeared him and his family, and they called him Hitler Jr. They demonized him for daring to bring conservative ideas onto campus, mocking him for speaking to young people who were supposed to be owned by the progressive movement. And now, many of those same voices are feigning shock when their relentless demonization spills into violence. You see, you can't call my friend evil for years, dehumanize him, threaten his family, and then pretend you had no hand in what happens. But Charlie would never want his legacy defined by bitterness or revenge. He modeled something better: courage, faith, and perseverance. Even in the most chaotic election cycles, when the news cycles never stopped and the demands on his time never let up, Charlie always flew home and turned his phone off on Sundays to take his wife and 2 babies to church. He practiced what he preached: faith first, family always. He reminded us that politics is temporary, but eternity is not. Charlie Kirk was a walking, talking beacon of hope. Now, the responsibility falls on all of us. If you admired Charlie, if you followed him, to honor him by not retreating into silence, but by speaking with courage. If you disagreed with him, honor him by debating with conviction instead of just smearing people. And if you loved him, live out his legacy by making America talk again. Charlie Kirk once told me, "If the left may have all the money in the world, but they'll never outwork me." He kept that promise until the very end. Now, it's up to all of us to keep working, to out-hustle, to outlast, and out-talk the culture of silence that wants to shut us down. May his memory not only inspire us, but move us to action. Because if Charlie Kirk taught me anything, it's that one conversation can change a life, and enough conversations can change a nation. That murdered my friend Charlie Kirk yesterday thought he was silencing our generation.
We have some new information just coming in, new visuals, that the Charlie Kirk's casket will be flown on Air Force 2 from Utah to Arizona. We have this: FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Bongino are officially on the ground in Utah at the scene of Charlie Kirk's killing. An FBI press conference is now scheduled to happen within 1 hour. This is all happening now. We're finding out also, following Vance's meeting, his casket will be flown back to his home on Air Force 2. We have some of the visuals from that just in here. Just a moment. I just had those in here. Let's see. Where did they go? Okay. This is just in here. Charlie Kirk's casket arrived at the church and his family attend almost every Sunday. A white hearse carrying his body. We also have President Trump talking about a virtual manhunt.
Or anything
But do the best we can.
anything on the investigation or anything on the latest that you've heard from the FBI or Kash Patel?
They've reported to me so far pretty much what you're seeing in the news is what it is. They have a virtual manhunt out there, so we'll see what happens. But we hope we get them.
Thank you, Mr. President. President.
Thank you.
President Trump discussing a virtual manhunt. Let's see, we have... Here is more Charlie Kirk's casket being escorted by a large motorcade. There's the hearse taking his body to the church.
Well, Charlie Kirk, emotional day for so many Charlie Kirk supporters and fans from all over the country. And again, very difficult time for Erica, the wife of Charlie, and the two children that he has as well. And now Sky Fox again showcasing just the very raw images right now of Charlie Kirk returning home. Very difficult time for the family, as no doubt this motorcade continues through the streets right now of Arizona, but very, very emotional couple of days ahead, and a life now without Charlie Kirk for the family. Very, very difficult void to carry through. In just moments, we will be getting an update from Fox 10 Phoenix on Turning Point USA. Some more supporters, of course, coming out today out in Phoenix to share their thoughts on Charlie, the impact that he had on their lives and on their political views as well. And now we are seeing the hearse continue through the streets right now of Phoenix, making its way ultimately, presumably towards a wake area where no doubt next week sometime the wake will be happening, probably will be very private. Emotional day for so many.
And there's the visual of his casket arriving at the church. Marco Rubio talking about Charlie Kirk. He sounds devastated.
Well, Charlie's someone I've gotten to know personally, and it was just heartbreaking to see. Both stunning and outrageous at the same time. Obviously, I have confidence in our investigators who are on the ground. The FBI is the best investigative unit in the world. I spoke to the governor numerous times yesterday in the midst of this, and they're also involved with their state police there. And so I think now we just need to let the investigators do their work. And we know two things for certain, and that is that a great young man is dead and a family's been shattered, and that there's no place for this in America. We all know that. All the words are out there, but it's true, not just outrageous, it's frightening. Well, Charlie's someone I've gotten to know personally.
Jim Acosta says that the right is exploiting the assassination of Charlie Kirk, man. Unfreaking believable.
Absolutely.
So we don't expect anything less.
Yeah, I mean,
from Jim Acosta.
There's exploitation going on of his death, and it's happening on the right, and it's absolutely disgraceful, and it's sending us down a course where more people are probably going to get hurt. And I mean, that to me that's where I kind of held my breath yesterday, is that, I think we're now in a moment, and there's not a whole lot you and I can do about this, Mike. You and I can talk about this until we're blue in the face or red in the face.
Yeah, whatever, man. We have this from Jason Chaffetz just a few hours ago.
I hope I can get through this part. The president called me, and I was very touched by that. And he talked about his love of Charlie and his family. That man, Donald Trump, is a rock. That guy's amazing. Everything going on in the world. And the president wanted to see how he's doing and wanted to talk about that beautiful lady and his family. And it was a really good conversation. And I'm very grateful that we have a president who cares the way he does. Second thing I got was a call from Kash Patel. Now, I've known Kash Patel, the FBI director, for more than a decade. It's late at night. He's got a lot on his plate. There's a lot of local criticism, concerns for me as well about what's the FBI doing and how's it doing. But I tell you, I left that call late last night feeling like you have an FBI director who knows what he's doing, and that's pouring every resource, and that they were far ahead of what they could release to the public. And so we wake up this morning, we keep getting these updates.
That's right.
I thought, that's the FBI that we signed up for. That's the FBI that we want. All these other crap that they do with political and, planning stories and talking to the media, all that. The men and women who actually jumped into action and have the expertise and the resources, I'm telling you, having listened to Cash and have this 10, 15-minute call with him near midnight, I went to bed thinking they're going to get this person and they're going to get after evil. That's the FBI that I signed up for.
Wow.
That's the one that makes me so proud.
And I had just said to Bill Maloogian, it seems like every 30 minutes we're getting all this information, and you, with your prayers and your conversations, you had forecast that. Buck, you were close to Charlie.
Yeah.
What happens now? I mean, I know you know Erica, and people are so concerned about her, a young mother now, to face the rest of her life and her children's lives without Charlie.
It's heartbreaking for everyone who knew Charlie. It's heartbreaking for the whole country, obviously, for the president and Don Jr., who was best friends with Charlie and had been for over a decade. I was getting text messages as this was unfolding yesterday, and I was on air in real time when we were getting updates about what was going on with the hospital. And people were, and just no one could believe it. Everyone was hoping that I could find from somebody close enough to Charlie that it was all going to be okay. I was getting people I haven't heard from in years, in some cases decades, just saying, tell me that he's going to be okay. And obviously I couldn't do that. And then
the FBI is going to be holding a news conference 18 minutes ago. This just breaking, 9:30 Eastern, on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Damon Imani, who produces satire videos mocking The View, just posted this. I haven't seen it yet, but usually he drops some serious truth in these videos. This is his response to The View host on Charlie Kirk's assassination. Obviously, this is satire, so...
Isn't a fundamental part of being an American that we are able to express our opinions to each other without fear, without this kind of horror happening? And it seems to be something we have been seeing more and more of. And it's not even left or right. It's just people being taken out because of their beliefs.
There's just no place for this kind of violence in this country. I am heartbroken over it. I cannot believe that someone would kill another person because they were speaking their beliefs.
Well, for years, you and your allies in the media have been conditioning half of the country against the president, his supporters, and figures like Charlie Kirk. Trump is Hitler, his supporters are fascists, right-wing extremists is danger to our democracy, they're Nazis, you know the words. Yet you seriously sit here acting surprised when lunatics who believe your words decide to take matters into their own hands. Your side burn and loot every time things don't go your way. Your side tried to assassinate the president multiple times. Your side burned Teslas all around the country and wanted Elon dead. Your side assassinated Charlie Kirk. Your side is currently celebrating it. So don't talk to me about, well, this is not a left and right issue. It is the left. It's only the left. It's ironically the Democratic side who engages in political violence and killings of figures they disagree with. And every time something like this happens, you come here, you tune down the rhetoric, crocodile tears, ooh, I can't believe this. Then a week later, you go right back at the dictator and fascist rhetoric again. So, you don't really care. You're just pretending. And for that, fuck you, and you in a corner too.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Damon Imani. Here we have Harrison Fields, Deputy Press Secretary, Special Assistant to the President on Real America's Voice.
You're at a loss. There are no words, right? And first and foremost, our prayers, our thoughts, everything in our bodies is going towards Erica and the kids. We can't fathom it. I am a young father myself, recently married, kind of following that Charlie Kirk motto, get married, have babies. This is what it's all about. You're at a loss for words. There is just no making sense of the unsensible tragedy that took our friend's life. And even if you didn't get to know him, you felt like you did know him. I was talking to friends from all over the country, and they're at a loss. They don't understand how something like this could happen. They got my friends engaged in politics. After years of me trying to convince people to become conservatives, all they needed was one Charlie Kirk video, and here they were voting for the president. That's the type of impact that he had. And his legacy will be a lot of things, but one thing, and I know you guys have been talking about it, his legacy as a man of faith, as a Christian, as a lover of Jesus will be of paramount importance. I mean, this is a man that when he saw my pin, it's right here on my lapel right here, it has a cross over the United States flag. He pointed it out to me. He noticed it. And I joked with him. I said, it's my Christian nationalist pin. And he got a chuckle out of it. Because we cannot be afraid to be Christians in this country. And, you know, just minutes before he passed, we knew that he was professing his faith once again. And I heard Kayleigh McEnany mention this quote, and I think it's beautiful. It's not about left or right. Just remember above and up. And we know that our brother Charlie is in the arms of Jesus Christ and the angels up there. And as a Christian, that gives you some level of comfort when you're just grasping for something to make sense of it all.
No, and martyrs absolutely go straight in. You know, Harrison, we got about a minute here until the break, but you know, it's something that Charlie always led with, and he was so unapologetic about his faith, and I think that's something that to Gen Z really was able to connect with them at a time when so many people are asking what's going on. It felt like, you know, through COVID, everything was collapsing. And then here comes Charlie. It's God, it's the Bible, it's Jesus, and he's there serving it to you right on campus.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We have a loneliness epidemic between our younger population. Charlie was able to influence them in a way to introduce them to God. With God in your life, you can't be lonely. You are so fulsome and wholesome in your life. So he's been able to evangelize in many ways to people. You know, you became a Christian and a conservative just from listening to him. That's the type of impact he has. You look throughout history, there's not many people that have been able to do that. You look at the Graham family, you look at people like, you know, MLK or, you know, other prominent people in our country that have had such a platform. The president of the United States, such a palpable platform, one that doesn't die with them, but really lives on. But the reality is, you know, again, as Christians, we know that he's very much alive in heaven, a place where he prayed and wished and knew he probably would end up one day. By no means did we think it would be at 31 years young. But again, our hearts and our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now.
Absolutely. Harrison Fields, thank you so much for joining us today. And obviously, we hope that Erica and the family are feeling those prayers right now. Jack Posobiec coming back. Charlie Kirk.
A new video showing Erica Kirk and Usha Vance holding hands as they step off Air Force Two, with Charlie Kirk's casket arriving in Arizona. AOC says, are we going to do something? Are we going to argue over rhetoric? We have to pass gun safety legislation. Really? Yeah, we're going to argue over rhetoric. We are. Because it's the rhetoric of the left that dehumanized people like Charlie to allow these moments to happen. No, there's no gun law that would have prevented this. People posting visual representations of Charlie Kirk in heaven now. More visuals of the shooter are emerging. And you can see a backpack. And people are pointing out in these images his leg. You can see something in the leg there. And it looks like that might be the rifle barrel. Another visual of the shooter, alleged shooter, in the stairwell. Another picture here. It's hard to say what is on the shirt. I'm sure we'll have more clarity on that. Home of the Brave. It looks like probably a shirt to allow him to blend in with the conservative audience. And this just in as well, and in a previous remark I made, discussed the possible coordination of the person asking the question with the person who was arrested on the site and the shooter. But now we're having here is the guy who was talking with Charlie Kirk before he was shot. And this does not appear to be somebody who would have been coordinating anything. Let's listen to what he has to say.
And people have obviously pointed to the irony that the point that I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was right before he got shot. And that only makes sense if we stay peaceful. And as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I'm on the record for how much I disagree with Charlie Kirk, but like, man, dude, he is still a human being. Have we forgotten that? Are we crazy? Like, and people have obviously pointed to the irony that the point that I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was right before he got.
FBI Director Kash Patel announcing a $100,000 reward for information on the person who took Charlie Kirk's life. This beautiful meme, Charlie Kirk with Jesus, a microphone in the foreground, cartoon rendition. Do you think someone will pick it up, Lord? The Lord saying, somebody will, Charlie. Someone will. Here we have more people pointing out the imagery. Because the video that was released by TMZ showed what appeared to be the assassin limping. But the assassin, does not appear the assassin was limping after, according to the video footage. But you can see the gun clearly in the leg of the shooter, the right pant leg. The circle there appears to perhaps be the scope or some type of protrusion from the rifle. Here, more highlighting of that image. And this is the video that was released by TMZ of the alleged shooter walking with the limp because the gun would prevent them from fully bending their leg. So the images, the still images we're seeing are presenting more corroboration on the individual carrying the weapon in their leg, pant leg. We are standing by to bring the press conference as it comes in. Here is Ben Shapiro weighing in, saying we will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and what should be, and we will never let Charlie's voice die. For those who would stop us, I have two words for you. F you.
Now, it's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team, that I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure, because we're Americans and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely, we are not going to stop. And I have two words: fuck you. We will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and for what she should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. Goodbye to my friend, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing for your family and for your country and for all of us.
Charlie Kirk inspired a generation.
I've been invited. So when I learned about what happened to Charlie Kirk today, it was like a punch in the gut. Because like Charlie, I'm a Christian, I'm a father, I'm a husband. Even though he might not have known it, his movement had a big effect on my life. I've been invited to several of his company Turning Points events over the last several years. And the first time me and my wife went to one of the events, we were blown away. Because we didn't realize how big the conservative movement was until we went to a Turning Point event. And we realized how much we're not alone, and that there are thousands of people who hold some of the same beliefs that we do, that want the best.
And that's what's going to happen. Thousands of people will be rising up to pick up that microphone. So we are standing by for the press conference that is about to begin on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And we'll bring that to you live as it comes in. Here is AOC.
I mean, I think what has just transpired is tremendously disturbing. It is the latest evolution instance of political violence in the United States, and it must end.
What message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment? What message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment and the rhetoric that has been put out in the media?
You know, beyond rhetoric, we need to talk about action. And we need to talk about, yes, there are words, but most importantly, we are in a job of leadership. We are in a job of action. We are in a role and a position where the American people are looking to us to do something about this. And every single day, people are dying due to gun violence in America, and every single day there are people in this building that continue to vote against doing anything. They vote against universal background checks. They continue to support legislation and also remove any way to block the mentally ill, to block extremists, to block people with histories and records of domestic violence from getting guns in their hands. So are we going to do something about this or not? We have a political assassination that happened at the same time as a school shooting where children are dying. On the same day, a week after a shooting at a Catholic school where children were gunned down while praying. Are we going to do something, or are we going to argue over rhetoric? That is my question about this. We have to pass gun safety legislation and stop.
That is not going to do a thing. It is the violent rhetoric of the left that caused this moment. So we are still standing by for that press conference. Stephen A. Smith excoriating people celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination.
People in this country. I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country.
But I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and beyond. I'm in a studio here in Las Vegas, and I'm looking outside, and I see people looking at me and smiling and saying, "What's up, Stephen?" They don't look anything like me. And I don't care, because they're showing me love, and I'm showing love right back to them. At some point in time, we got to recognize, can't just speak about it. Can't just give lip service to when such a vile act takes place. And we're going to give lip service to the tragedy of the moment, and then within 24 hours, we move on with our lives like nothing happened. Something did happen. Don't care what his political beliefs were. I don't care what he felt. I care about the fact that a man was gunned down in front of two of his children who are 5 years of age or less. That he's dead at the age of 31. That his wife is a widow, that his children are fatherless because his ideas and his beliefs differed from somebody else, apparently. And then I'm going online and I'm seeing people celebrating it. Shame. Shame on you. I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country. But I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and...
We have Officer Lou posting this. Potential escape route. Charlie Kirk's assassin from this morning's FBI press conference. The weapon could have been found in the trees brush along this route. The diagram shows exactly how the shooter was able to get off the roof and into an adjacent neighborhood pretty quickly. There could have been a vehicle on standby just inside of the neighborhood. There's a stairwell that leads down from the roof to the outside portion at ground level. So you could see the visual of where Charlie's tent was, the path of the bullet, and the assassin's route directly through a parking lot and into a neighborhood nearby. Let's see. We have Timcast News posting Kash Patel and senior FBI agents on the ground at Charlie Kirk's assassination site. A press conference regarding Kirk's assassination will be occurring very soon. We'll carry those remarks live. But here's the visual of FBI Kash Patel reviewing the location. Mike Rowe discussing the assassination. It feels like someone shot the First Amendment. He says, I think maybe something extraordinary is going to happen in the days and weeks ahead. I don't know what it is, but it feels portentous. Here's a longer cut of the Joe Rogan and Charlie Sheen reaction.
Guys out there just said it was confirmed that he's dead.
In the lobby was just...
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
Whoa. Murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Beliefs that didn't align.
Did it or,
yeah.
I'm sorry?
Dead. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Fuck.
Fox
News.
Jesus. 27 years old, maybe? 30?
Do they even have a suspect?
I don't know. That's why I'm literally trying to track it all on Twitter, and it's all...
Fuck. Nobody deserves it. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
So were you saying that MSNBC had a crazy take on it? Mm-hmm. What was their take?
I mean, I'm literally just reading Twitter, so I didn't see the video. I just saw people talking about tweets of it. I'll pull it up, though. Let me see.
Fuck.
And even now, they could have taken it down.
It was a...
It's possible that this is a live reaction of the moment that the news reached them.
Tweet or a video?
I'm doing the show while I'm trying to figure.
Right.
out
No, I understand.
I think they were live on the air and people clipped what they were talking about. It's not a tweet. It's not on their Twitter account or anything.
What a crazy take. Like, it might not have been someone assassinating someone for the wrong opinion.
Huh.
Fuck.
Well, why is someone aware of daily?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those young influencers, right? This time from the right, who is all over social media, always doing these various shows and debating people and talking to people and giving speeches. And
sure.
Yeah. No one deserves this, folks. No one that has different opinions. No one deserves that.
No.
This is horrible.
No.
But I know people are going to celebrate it because this is a fucked up time, and people have really fallen into this trap of us against them.
But it's also going to make people not want to be as courageous or not want to be as forthright with the things they believe. It's going to put people on guard.
It could. It
could do the opposite.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's also going to be that sort of
Self-preservation.
ingrained thing now.
Mm-hmm. You're correct. Yeah.
And and you just go.
So, if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Kirk's death revealed who we really are as a nation. While leftists celebrated online, millions of patriots gathered in prayer. The contrast is undeniable. Vigils versus riots, grace versus hate. President Trump personally called Kirk's family. Marco Rubio fought back tears. Katie Pavlich broke down on air. Even Bill Maher found common ground with the man. That's Kirk's real legacy. He could reach across the aisle. Rabbi Mentz called him the Abraham of our times, and watching these tributes, you understand why. He didn't just preach unity, he lived it. And now TikTok floods with former Democrats abandoning their party after witnessing the venom spewed at a murdered father. His assassination was meant to silence a movement. Instead, it's creating converts. They killed a man, but birthed a martyr. Question for you. Will Charlie Kirk's death unite Americans like 9/11 did, or deepen our divide? Drop your answer below. Okay. All right. I'm not sure I hear audio in my ear. Okay, let's go to the press conference that's starting now.
Commissioner Anderson, as well as, Commissioner Bo Mason, as well as some local partners here present with us today. Governor, we'll kick it off. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to cue up the video right now. Show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video.
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the T-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again the T-shirt, blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out. We'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little warning. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the and federal labs and federal lab on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together. I would also just add a word of note for those people who are spending so much time on social media. I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well. What we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and to spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
That is the press conference we have been waiting for. We continue our coverage as the manhunt for Charlie Kirk's assassin continues. Authorities just gave an update, sharing new video of the alleged shooter on the rooftop before jumping off and running.
Okay. Now, no remarks from Kash Patel. Quite surprising, in fact. He did not provide any additional insight. However, we do have the video. We can take another look at what was presented that just came in, that the FBI and the governor has just presented. Let's take a closer look at that here. Here is a photograph from the FBI Director Kash Patel and Dan Bongino on the roof where the suspect opened fire from. Here is the video that was just presented.
Far right corner. Upper building, he's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for in the upper building. He's going to come out on the right.
So we're going to continue to track this. Of course, this is imagery, visuals of the T-shirt that was mentioned. Clearly an effort to blend in with the crowd. And, of course, him walking with a stiff leg because he's carrying a firearm in that. Now, how he jumped off that building and landed is astounding, especially if he was still concealing that weapon. which was then later retrieved from a wooded area.
As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants.
See, he's got a stiff leg when he's lowering himself. Perhaps he put the gun back in his pants. I'm not sure what to make of this exactly, or how he concealed the weapon on the way out. But it seems like perhaps he concealed it the same way he brought it in, and then discarded the weapon. So we'll continue to monitor this as more information becomes available. We're going to move on to our next topic. And as more information is available, we will bring it to you. I want to thank everyone for choosing us as your source for truth tonight. Appreciate you all for being here on all platforms: Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, LinkedIn. Alice Cersei providing a $50 super chat in memory of Charlie. Thank you, Gary, for all you do. And Maine Arbor dropping $2, declaring, "I am Charlie Kirk." We have more news we have to get to today, and we're going to be discussing it. The other horrific murder that took place in Iryna. So stay with us as we continue to break this down. They released the full video. I watched it. A young woman's final moments captured in brutal clarity. Iryna Zarutska, 23 years old, who fled Ukrainian warfare seeking American safety. She found death instead. Not from a stray bullet or random violence, but from a man with 14 arrests who would have been locked away years ago. The same judges who freed him now pretend to care. The same politicians who gutted our justice system now offer empty condolences. This is not about a murder. This is about a system so broken that career criminals walk free while innocent refugees die. And what you're about to hear will make your blood boil. Now, Patriots, what we're about to discuss is heartbreaking and disturbing, but we must briefly acknowledge our sponsors who do keep this operation, this truth-telling operation, running. Imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future. That is the vision behind Western Star Resources. Western Star Resources is an experienced, publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record in advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geological expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. Check them out. The link is in the description, westernstarresources.com. Now, we've been tracking the senseless assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we've also been tracking the senseless murder of Iryna Zarutska. As you know, the media has been completely silent on it. Charlie Kirk's last post reflected upon it. The media refuses to acknowledge what it is. Bill Maloosia nuking the Democrat Party and the media for wall-to-wall support of an MS-13 alien, Kilmar Garcia, yet ignoring Iryna Zarutska.
22nd. It happened on August 22nd. This was a couple of weeks ago. And the media had to be goaded into covering it once the video came out. You talk about all the coverage, the breathless coverage with Daniel Penny. You talk about how media and politicians love to talk about migrants and refugees. Look how much coverage Kilmar Abrego Garcia got. How many press conferences were there for him? How many people flew to El Salvador to visit him? Where are the press conferences for this young Ukrainian woman? And it's been crickets.
It has been crickets. The full video of her death has been posted. The images are strong. We're not going to present it here, but it is horrible to witness. She was killed by a black man who already had 14 arrests and whom a black judge let go free. Those from the Black Lives Matter movement won't say anything about this case. If it were the other way around, they'd already be burning the USA and the entire world to the ground. Few say it, but we won't stop saying it. White lives matter too. Piers Morgan saying it's a wake-up call for humanity. Yesterday's uncensored, debated coverage of the murder of Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska. And tomorrow he will be covering Charlie Kirk.
Broken loose. He was reportedly heard saying, "I got that white girl," after killing her. Which, you know, if it was the other way around, if that was a beautiful young black girl who had been murdered by a white man who'd said, "I got that black girl," I think all hell would have broken loose in the mainstream media. And I say that as someone who's been in the mainstream media for a long time, right? So
it's on video.
It's literally on video.
We have no evidence. I mean, I'm astonished, truly, Piers, hearing what I'm hearing today, that it's just not a sexy story. We only cover things that people care about, as if you shouldn't care about the death of a beautiful, innocent 23-year-old girl who fled a literal war zone to come to the United States and live a peaceful, prosperous life, coming home from her work shift to be brutally murdered, presumably simply because of her skin color and what she looks like. And we can say we have no evidence or we don't know what the real motive was in this situation all day long. But the truth is, in an 8-minute video that has now been viewed billions of times on social media, I hope at this point, we hear twice, not once, but twice, "I got that white girl," coming out of the mouth of the man who decided to commit this heinous crime. This is something that should be a firestorm for our culture, but it's incredibly telling to me that within moments after George Floyd's death, you saw the Catholic University of America instantly put up a mural of the Virgin Mary cradling George Floyd. You saw an Instagram trend that took over every single leading company, brand, influencer, celebrity's account, spurring millions of people to post a black square. And you saw our society change overnight with the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. But now you can see literal days go by with CNN having 42,000+ stories of George Floyd on their website and 0 search results for Iryna Zarutska within several days after an attack like this happens. And the Wall Street Journal wait to weigh in on this until days later on page 5 of the newspaper, in which their only headline was "Women's Stabbing Death Becomes MAGA Talking Point."
Right.
This is the clearest window into how much the media is doing everything they can to pit people against each other. And I, for one, am kind of grateful for how disgustingly they're treating this, because it's a wake-up call for humanity to realize we don't have to live this way. We don't have to expect that this is normal on a train ride home from work in Charlotte, North Carolina, for a beautiful young girl trying to provide for herself and create a better future. And the expectation that this should be a normal response to this outrage is disgusting to me.
He was reportedly heard saying, "I got that white girl," after killing her. Which, you know, if it was the other way around, he
says there's no evidence of that. But clearly the audio tells a very different story. Charlie Kirk, in one of his last social media posts, had this to say: "If we want things to change, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless murder of Iryna Zarutska, because it was politics that allowed a savage monster with 14 priors to be free in the streets to kill her."
I do say this. On August 22nd, Iryna Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal.
Her life story, I think, will be told both in the United States and Ukraine for years to come. What do you think the importance of this story is most fundamentally?
This was one of the coldest, most senseless murders
I've ever seen. She had no interaction with this guy whatsoever. She was sitting minding her own business, and he just takes out a knife and just decides to stab her. I do say this with some form of just heaviness. I don't like politicizing situations like this, but it just necessitates it because there are so many dynamics at play here. Based on the information evidence we have, the attacker did say, "I got that white girl." The attacker racialized it in his own telling of this situation. And we all know this. Any honest observer of your program knows this, including Van Jones even knows this deep down, which is that, of course, if a random white person on a subway took out a knife and stabbed a black girl senselessly to death, there would be massive media coverage. There would be policy changes. There would be people having to apologize for this. We saw this in George Floyd, and yet, for whatever reason, this situation has not garnered even a fraction of that kind of outrage or backlash.
On August 22nd, Iryna Zarutska was...
And 24 hours later, Charlie Kirk would be gunned down by an assassin's bullet. PBD podcast posting this. Van Jones, we don't know why that man did what he did, and for Charlie Kirk to say we don't know it's because he's white, there's no evidence of that, is pure rage mongering.
We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering.
Russ Ferguson, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, says federal charges against the Charlotte killer are to make sure that violent people like this don't see the light of day.
That are trying to get to work. I mean, classically, this is a state crime, or it's a stabbing, it's a murder. Those are all state crimes. But this is a unique crime because it happened on a public transit system. And that affects the American way of life. Those are people that are trying to get to work. They are trying to get to college for their classes. They are trying to get to their families. And because of that, Congress was very wise and created a federal statute that said it's a federal crime to commit an act of violence on a mass transportation provider. And that's exactly what we have here. So we've brought that charge. With that charge, we have the ability to supplement the state first degree murder charge. And so we're seeing this more as a add-on to that charge, a supplement, a backup to that charge to make sure that violent people like this don't see the light of day again. I mean, classically.
Federal charges now for that murder. Now, DeCarlos Brown Jr., speaking from jail for the first time since the brutal murder, claims the government implanted materials in his body that made him commit a horrific crime.
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material used my body to stab the lady.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia, and you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
It ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Whoever was working the material, they lashed out on her.
So you said something in your body.
So he's claiming there was something in his body. Of course, people are going to immediately seize on that, calling it an MK Ultra operation. Maybe that's what he's trying to, he's building his defense. As you heard him say, they got to investigate it. They got to investigate it now because he makes a claim. Yeah. Good luck with that. Here's Fox News' Trace Gallagher slamming CNN anchors.
Trump is now, CNN's Aaron Burnett says, quote, Trump is now seizing on the video of Zarutska's murder. But shouldn't somebody seize on it? Shouldn't somebody seek a solution? Shouldn't somebody point out the accused killer was arrested 14 times, walked free 14 times, was diagnosed with mental illness while walking free 14 times? Another CNN anchor, Abby Phillips, says, quote, people are murdered every single day. I'm trying to understand why this has become such a flashpoint on the right. Is she saying murders are so dime a dozen that it doesn't warrant coverage? Or is it this murder that doesn't warrant coverage? Because if somebody tried to stop this killer, CNN would have demanded a trial and covered it gavel to gavel. CNN's Aaron Burnett says, quote, Trump is now seizing on the video of Zarutska's murder.
Defiant L's posting that white people only respect violence, and that's why I do not hesitate to jump down their throats anytime they try to play with me. What?
Fucking throats. White people only respect violence. And that's why when I'm outside of work, I don't hesitate to jump down their motherfucking throats.
Wow. People are sick. CNN panel attacking Caroline Downey for saying the killer of Iryna Zarutska should have been locked away for life.
Schizophrenia. He should have been locked away for life because he was threatening the public. He was a menace to society.
He should have been locked away for life for what now?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to?
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that somebody should be locked away in jail forever for schizophrenia. Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually?
This is what you're saying is that this man should have been roaming the streets.
I'm saying that you don't lock people in prison for schizophrenia.
An institution.
What kind of institution? Institutions in terms of mental health care services?
Yes.
If you're talking about providing full wraparound services for people, I understand that, but at some point, people do get out when they have been treated and rehabilitated.
Sure, but that didn't happen here. He didn't go to an institution at all.
But you're
and
advocating.
So he stabbed a woman. Said he should be locked away for life.
There's thousands and thousands of people in America, more than tens, hundreds of thousands, who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are walking around and that are leading fairly normal lives because they are under treatment.
A lot of people who are mentally
ill are going to lock up everybody with schizophrenia for life?
He demonstrated.
Oh, my goodness. It makes me so sick. Hakeem Jeffries shrugs off 14 arrests of Iryna Zarutska's killer when asked by Lindell TV's Allison why a violent repeat offender was released 14 times.
Soft on crime Democrat. Curtailing off of that topic of Iryna Zarutska, who was tragically and horrifically murdered, I'm curious, it seems that it could have been completely preventable because this man who murdered her was arrested and released about 14 times. He had a mile-long rap sheet because of soft on crime Democrat policies, it seems. I'm curious what Congress is prepared to do to really force judges to keep violent criminals locked up, or at least, for an appropriate length of time.
I think it's outrageous that people are trying to politicize the death of this wonderful young lady. It's outrageous that anyone would politicize their death. What decency do people have at a moment like this, as opposed to trying to find common sense solutions? One thing I can tell you that's also outrageous is that Donald Trump pardoned hundreds of violent felons who brutally beat police officers. And the soft on crime Republican policy inherent in pardoning violent felons has resulted in people all across America subsequently being violently victimized by those January 6 violent felons who were released back into communities all across America. That's soft on crime Republican policies. How dare people try to politicize this tragedy right now?
Yeah, it needs to be politicized, just like Charlie Kirk said. Okay, and calls for, now he's Hakeem Jeffries making a 180-degree turn. He now condemns the attack, calls for nationwide crackdown on crime.
Was horrific incident, and, you know, our thoughts and prayers, heartfelt sentiments go out to the family. No family should ever experience anything like this. And by all accounts, the victim was a bright, vibrant, hopeful, optimistic person who was contributing to her community in Charlotte, and the sky was going to be the limit in terms of what her life would be like and how she was going to benefit others by continuing to shine brightly. It's a horrific situation, and we should continue to examine thoughtful and decisive ways to drive down crime in the United States of America.
A little late for that, buddy. Magistrate judge, this is from, looks like Amuse posting this. Magistrate judge, releasing violent criminals without bail often aren't even lawyers. We have this, the 10K mural idea. I believe they're going to be putting murals up around the country with her.
Muralist, and you want so I love the Iryna mural idea, but I'm realizing the biggest issue is finding businesses that are willing to let somebody paint. Well, I own Southern Gun and Pawn, and I have this big, beautiful wall here that's perfect for a mural. We get 25,000 cars a day across this road. So if you're a muralist and you want a place to paint this, I've got this for you. So guys, share this. Tag people in it, repost it. Let's find a muralist to come get one of these murals going so they can earn that 10K. And I ask other businesses to be bold and offer up your wall space for this artwork.
Oh my goodness. It's been revealed that the 34-year-old DeCarlos DeJuan Brown Jr. spent more than 5 years in prison for a felony charge, in and out of prison for a decade.
At least 14. Legally, he is the suspect in this case. And also no stranger to law enforcement with a rap sheet that dates back more than a decade. Authorities arrested him at least 14 times for a long list of crimes, including robbery and assault. And this is a man who spent more than 5 years in prison in one felony case and has a known history of mental illness. Law enforcement knew for years he's dangerous. He now faces a federal charge for the lethal stabbing of Iryna, plus the state charge of first-degree murder. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Here is Attorney General Pam Bondi.
CNN's Van Jones says white people have racist virus in their brain that activates in an instant.
His or her brain that can be activated at an instant. And so what you're seeing now is a curtain falling away. And those of us who have been burdened by this every minute, every second of our entire lives are fragile right now. So even the most liberal, well-intentioned white person has a virus in his or her brain that can be activated.
That's the kind of rhetoric that causes people to act. The North Carolina GOP is torching liberals for allowing crime to rage through their state. This is the fire we need to see, and now they need to get to work revoking all soft on crime policies.
Don't look. My name is Kyle Kirby. I'm the chairman of the Mecklenburg County Republican Party. The full video of Iryna Zarutska's murder has now been released. Don't look away. Don't turn your heads. Don't shut your eyes. Watch it. Because she had no choice but to look evil in the face. Her final moments were moments of terror, pain, and loneliness. While no one was able to lift a hand on that car to help her, you can see the killer walking away with his knife dripping in blood in chilling indifference. It is horrific. It is excruciating, but it must be seen by the public. because these are not isolated tragedies. This is a result of failed policies, weak leadership, and a judicial system that protects criminals instead of innocent individuals. What the Democrats call restorative justice looks like Iryna Zarutska's murder. The suffering of you and your loved ones for their gain. Shame on the Mecklenburg County justice system. You failed to incarcerate an individual who had been arrested previously 14 times. Shame on the civic leadership of Charlotte. You failed to protect the very people you swore to serve. And shame on Mayor Vitaliles. You failed to offer anything other than platitudes and pandering instead of real, meaningful leadership. Iryna Zarutska died because of the Democrat policies in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. Woke politics that perpetuate cashless bail and refuse to prioritize public safety over appearances. But we have seen these horrific images. The knife dripping in blood, her panic, the silence of others around her. These moments sear into our minds. But let it also ignite our resolve that we must not stand by and watch the Charlotte that we love also die in silence. The time is now to end the experiment of single-party, soft-on-crime governance in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. The time is now to demand cash bail for multiple-time offenders. The time is now to treat criminals like accountable individuals and not entitled persons. So hear me now, Charlotte. On Monday, September 22nd, 30-day anniversary from the death of Iryna Zarutska, at 8 p.m. at the East-West Boulevard Light Rail Station, I call on every able-bodied Charlottean and person in this city who is concerned about crime to turn out to a candlelight vigil in Iryna Zarutska's honor. We will stand shoulder to shoulder, defying silence and showing the world that we will not let her death be erased by complicit media partners. I call on people from every background, every political stripe, every nationality, join us now. Help end the woke narratives and the broken leadership and the system that sacrificed this woman's life to evil. Remember, Iryna Zarutska survived in Ukraine in a bomb shelter. In war-torn Ukraine, she made her way from that country to Charlotte, seeking refuge and promise, and she was given the edge of a knife. She died because of our complacency and what we have allowed to perpetuate in the Charlotte municipal and county government. Iryna, I'm sorry for that. This November, wake up. Charlotte, wake up. Vote to defeat the agenda that has cost her life. Vote to restore safety. Vote to restore common sense. And vote to restore accountability in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. I implore you to vote for new leaders now. Thank you.
This is only the beginning. Soft on crime policies are clearly the reason why this man was allowed to walk free and murder this innocent woman. And that needs to stop. It needs to end now. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, I did watch that full video, and it broke something in me. Iryna survived the war zone only to die on American soil because our justice system values criminals over victims. 14 arrests, 14. Each judge who freed DeCarlos Brown has blood on their hands. The magistrate judges, who didn't even need law degrees, setting killers loose. The DA, whose plea bargain away public safety, they all enabled this execution. Brown himself admitted, I got that white girl, before spinning tales about government implants making him kill. CNN called him a man who was hurting. I'll tell that to Iryna's family. Tell that to the Ukrainian community who welcomed her here. President Trump demanded death for this animal, and he's right. Matt Walsh called for the judge in chains, and he's right too. So here's my question. Should judges who repeatedly free violent criminals face criminal charges when those criminals kill? Drop a yes or no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay. I think we had, let's see, Tamara Jennings dropping $1. Thank you, Tamara. Roaring Lion dropping $4.99. Thank you for bringing Gong the truth. Bringing on the truth. Benny Jammin, $5. What sad and insane times we live in. We need accountability. This evil needs to be dealt with. Ukraine in embers, dropping $7.07. President Trump shall soon implement that if any judge who lets a criminal of medium to high offense off the hook, the judge can be sued and fired. Speaking of crime, we are going to be shifting our gears to what's going on in Chicago. Okay, let's go to that. Todd, I'm not I don't see the. Oh, there it is. Okay. Federal agents are raiding Chicago right now. Venezuelan gang members dragged from safe houses, illegal weapons seized, children rescued from predators. This is Operation Midway Blitz in action. But here's what's insane. Local politicians are actually fighting against it. Governor Pritzker says there's no emergency while residents are carjacked at gunpoint. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls federal help fascism while his citizens bleed. Now, new exclusive footage shows National Guard vehicles and tanks rolling through Westmont Station, headed for Great Lakes Naval Base. Rock Island Armory preparing heavy weapons. This is not a drill. This is Trump delivering on his promise to restore order where Democrats created chaos. The battle for Chicago has officially begun, so don't look away. Now, a quick word from our sponsor. Imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future, and that's the vision behind Western Star Resources. Western Star Resources is an experienced, publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record in advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geological expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. Check them out in the link in the description, westernstarresources.com. Now, this is the video that was published 24 hours ago of heavy military equipment passing through Westmont Station, heading eastbound towards Chicago. This posted by Project Constitution, one of our follows on X. They write that just 1 week after President Trump announced he would deploy the National Guard to support ICE operations, I've obtained exclusive video showing a train loaded with Guard vehicles and tanks passing through Westmont Metro Station. This is the first visual confirmation of the Guard's arrival in the Chicago area. What comes next for the city is the question. How will this impact safety, protests, and daily life? The exclusive footage on your screen right now. Now, we're also learning here, this posted just 2 hours ago by Alexander Lockerbauer. They say the National Guard would just stay in downtown Chicago. Good. Our downtown businesses and residents are neglected and clearly need protection. You can see on your screen a smash and grab at Louis Vuitton. Smash and grab burglary crew killed a man when they slammed into his car while fleeing a break-in at the Louis Vuitton store on Michigan Avenue this morning.
About the burglary at video captures the moments after thieves used a pickup truck to ram into this Louis Vuitton store. The footage shows a group of people dressed in dark clothing running into the store and then running out with stolen items from inside. The suspects can be seen getting into several vehicles that were either parked nearby or pulled up. As Chicago police responded to calls about the burglary at the luxury store on Michigan Avenue, the thieves sped off. This is the second break-in in the Gold Coast over the last few weeks. Video captures the moment.
Michigan Avenue. Unbelievable. And just the other day, a Rolex store was broken into. Thieves went to the window, smashed it with axes and hammers, stole the Rolexes, and engaged in a shootout in Chicago. Operation Midway Blitz is in full effect. Chicago One Ray states, think Trump is playing, think again. ICE agents all over the southwest side of Chicago targeting illegals who refuse to self-deport.
The enhanced immigration
promising a surge of resources in the city.
We have team coverage of what's now being called Operation Midway Blitz. We begin with our Sabrina Franza live for us on the southwest side, where community groups are trying to get critical information out to their neighbors. Sabrina.
Marie, neighbors here on the southwest side, they are telling us that they are feeling afraid in this moment. Many saying that they're not even opening their doors to those canvassing, trying to deliver Know Your Rights materials to them. They're saying that the enhanced immigration enforcement they're seeing here in their communities is a sign that that operation has begun.
Many people were asking, when is it going to start? When is it going to start? This has been happening. What we're seeing today is an escalation.
The people united will never be defeated.
In the shadow of Midway Airport, Chicago's southwest side prepares for Operation Midway Blitz.
They will not stop here.
Telling neighbors to record, take photos if they see enhanced immigration enforcement in their area. Reacting to reports of people being arrested by ICE near Archer Heights Sunday, including a local flower vendor.
We've already seen a decrease, a huge decrease this morning as I was dropping off my kids at school. No vendors were outside.
Early Monday, locals report spotting DHS in nearby West Lawn.
But we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to have representation.
Eddie Guillen passed out Know Your Rights flyers in his neighborhood after those alleged sightings.
Letting people know they have rights.
Downtown Chicago, Immigration and Customs Enforcement posted this photo, a marked ICE vehicle parked outside of Willis Tower. President Trump says he's still waiting for a call from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
You try and reason with people like in Chicago with the governor and the mayor. You try and reason with them, and it's like you're talking to a wall.
Operation Midway Blitz in full effect. Here we have Jesse Waters.
Doing something.
Jesse Waters presenting a TikTok video from Chicago Refuse Fascists.
If you see ICE thugs doing something, invading a school, a parking lot, a Home Depot, wherever, right, you need to get out your whistle and blow as hard as you can. What they're doing is illegal. It's Gestapo-like, and we have to stop it. We have to commit ourselves to stop it.
Whistles work are in sports. And if you're going to use them to fight crime, not to protect MS-13. Over the weekend in the Windy City, the Whistle Warriors got to work. It was Mexican Independence Day, and this fiesta was loco. First, they cursed out Miller for ruining Mexico's 4th of July.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. You, Stephen Miller. Really. He planned it, he orchestrated it, because he knows nobody does it like Chicago for Mexican Independence Day. Nobody does it like here. We show pride, we show love in our community, and for them to purposely plan it, our festivities here were canceled, festivities in Waukegan were canceled.
And like it.
Well, the problem is people here are here illegally, and that is what they are working to enforce the law. If you recall, I posted this meme over the weekend. President Trump reshared it. I love the smell of deportations in the morning is how I captioned it. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And they are now finding out exactly what that means. Gunther Eagleman posting this. Chicago residents are done with the crime plaguing their city.
Johnson, it just gone from bad to worse to disaster.
No one really feels safe. It's impossible to feel safe in a city like this, especially with the leadership we have.
These kids are carrying guns like around the ages of 8 years old, and they're killing other 8-year-old kids with guns. It's insane.
My opinion, not enough police officers. The police officers' hands are tied.
So the police is really unappreciative for offhand under Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot, J.B. Pritzker. Those are three are the reason why nobody want to be a police.
Their policies when it comes to crime is not working at all.
I think the biggest piece of the pie has to be more police officers, more protection. That's what the people want.
It just gone.
The people want protection. President Trump is offering that. Ben Berquam on the scene 5 hours ago made a stop at Governor Pritzker's house in Chicago. If you love America, the assassination of Charlie Kirk doesn't inspire you to take action, I don't know what will.
Billionaire. I debated on even coming here, but this scumbag, Governor Pritzker, he's got private security out here, of course. He's the governor. But lives in this multi-million-dollar mansion. He's a billionaire. He's protected. Chicago's screwed. And he has the nerve to blame Charlie Kirk, to blame President Trump for the violence that we see. It is a direct result of leftist Democrat policies who took God out of society and replaced God with government. It's a direct result of why we see transgenderism and why we see babies murdered and celebrated as so-called feminism. It's a direct result of why we see the South Side, black children killing black children. It's a direct result of leftist policies. It's a direct result of why we see illegal aliens being prioritized over American citizens. And it's a direct result of why Charlie Kirk is dead. Godless leftist policies are the problem. Evil is the problem. And it's politicians like Governor Pritzker. God bless these guys. We appreciate law enforcement. They're just doing their jobs. But it's worthless politicians like Governor Pritzker that are the problem. Cameras, private gate, private security. He's protected while the inner city is killing itself. While illegal aliens are replacing American citizens. And while we have traitors like these NGOs, leftist NGOs and jihadis that are in our country right now, working to undermine our country from within. It's leftist Democrat policies that did that. And it's people like that that need to be defeated. Ideas like that need to be defeated. God bless Charlie Kirk's family. If you're not inspired now, I don't know what it's going to take. You better get up. You better get active. We got a country to save.
We have a country to save. Hakeem Jeffries demands the United States adopt Illinois' crime-fighting model. That's a joke. An example city of which is Chicago, where he says crime is quickly being brought under control as a result of Democrat policies, spoken with a straight face.
As Democrat, Governor Pritzker is doing a tremendous job on behalf of the people in the great state of Illinois and is committed to continuing to drive crime down in Chicago, as Democrats are committed to driving crime down all across the United States of America. Governor Pritzker is doing...
Unbelievable. Gavin Newsom, Salty Goat writes, this is how Gavin Newsom serves bullshit wrapped in misdirection and smothered in half-truths. He can never be allowed to be president.
Let's talk about it.
Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit?
So classic Newsom just on social media. He comes out and goes, I don't know what Trump is talking about. 8 out of 10 of the top state murder rates are in red states, which he was right. That is true.
Right.
But of course, when you go and then look at what the cities are, 9 out of 10 are Democrat, and the only one that's not Democrat just switched to Republican 6 months ago, and it's on its way down.
Yeah, it's all the cities that are Democrat run.
Such a classic Newsom manipulation. He doesn't know the bullshit he's spewing. It's really wild to see him do that.
Well, all he has is manipulation of numbers and statistics and workarounds. That's all he really has. You know, when you don't have the truth, that's about all you got. It's interesting that he's going to go, sort of try this on the world stage now. We'll see if people are, if the word is dumb enough, but something enough to buy into that.
Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit.
So class.
That was on the Adam Carolla show, getting called out. And then you have this video surfacing of a FedEx truck in Memphis, posted 24 hours ago, looted as it's driving away. How does society end this lawlessness? Unbelievable. We have this also in a stunning turn of events. Maryland Governor Wes Moore invites President Trump to send in federal support to clean up Baltimore and Maryland crime. This is a huge win for the Trump administration. If only Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker would do the same.
United States are run. Governor, I appreciate the investment, but it would just seem to me if despite that investment, Baltimore still ranks 3rd in the nation in violent crime rate per capita in the nation, that you would welcome in the President of the United States help if crime in Maryland. And as to the point of partisan politics, it's simply the truth. The truth isn't partisan. And the truth is most of the major cities in the United States are run by Democrat governors, and they're also the highest rate crime cities in the country. I'm on limited time, and I want to give you a chance to address something,
I would
though, Governor,
absolutely
because President
welcome
Trump brought
federal
it up.
support.
Apparently, there we go. You would welcome federal support. That's wonderful to hear.
I would absolutely welcome federal support.
Happy to hear that.
But I also know what federal support is going to be necessary and required. It's the reason that I've said we would love to have additional support for license plate readers, things that we know can actually stop crimes as they are happening and making sure that people are brought to justice, and not having $30 million cut from public safety budgeting that is coming from the federal government. That I would love to be able to make sure that the federal government can do things like ban ghost guns and making sure we're eliminating these extended clips for Glocks, which essentially are turning Glocks into automatic weapons. I would love to make sure we're investing in local law enforcement, because we are watching cuts that are happening to local law enforcement and also gun safety funding.
Governor, we can't let all of that stand in the way of the immediate solution being offered by the federal government. Well, you can't let all of that stand in the way and be an excuse for rejecting the solution being offered at the doorstep, which is the help of the federal government when it comes to National Guard. I'm on. Wow. Governor, I appreciate the investment.
Yeah, he wants to have all the policy, banning ghost guns. That stuff doesn't work. Criminals will find guns no matter how. Homeland Security posting this. Operation Midway Blitz will flood the zone with DHS law enforcement. In Chicago, Trump and Secretary Noem will not allow foreign terrorist enemies to operate in our country and endanger Americans. They will always put the safety of the American people first. Homeland Security posting this 24 hours ago.
Members of
Today we're going after a very violent TDA gang member.
Tonight, exclusive evidence that Chicago's Operation Midway Blitz has begun. ABC News was given access to one of the first operations, ATF and ICE working together. You see dozens of heavily armed agents meeting at an undisclosed location to track suspected members of Tren de Araga's gang, accused of selling guns.
A lot of these firearms came back to very violent shootings in Chicago, homicides, carjackings, aggravated batteries.
We suit up and head out with Marcos Charles of ISIS Enforcement Removal Unit. Agents conduct surveillance of a suspected gun trafficking location, and after about 90 minutes, ATF targets a vehicle that flees, arresting 2 men they believe are suspected gang members. Minutes later, we arrive at another location. There's been another arrest. Federal agents removing a baby girl from the home. ICE says the 3 men in handcuffs and shackles have been identified as undocumented and are being investigated for ties to the Tren de Aragua gang and for potential gun trafficking.
Today we're going after
Operation Midway Blitz in full effect right now. Rapid Response 47 posting this 24 hours ago while ICE agents are taking down Venezuelan gun traffickers on the streets of Chicago. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is on podcast claiming the United States is essentially becoming Nazi Germany as a result of their heroic efforts. They call him an absolute radical lunatic.
How do you prove to somebody that you're a U.S. citizen? Your accent? The color of your skin? That's not the country we live in. You know, you shouldn't have to walk around with papers the way that they did in the early days of Nazi Germany to prove that you belong and that you're not one of them. And that is essentially the kind of country that we're becoming if you allow ICE to simply grab people after racial profiling. How do you prove to somebody?
They're not racially profiling, they're targeting. That's the problem with Governor Pritzker's remarks here, is that he's alluding to accents and skin color. And as you just saw in that report we just presented to you of the ride-along with ICE and DHS agents, that they specifically were targeting gun trafficking, known gun trafficking, and gang locations. That's what they're doing. It's not like they're just driving down the street and they say, oh, look at these brown people, let's go and rough them up and ask them for papers. That's not what's happening here. But Governor Pritzker would have you believe that. That's the message he's actually transmitting. This on NPR, Morning Edition. This type of rhetoric is absolutely insane, and Rapid Response 47 is correct in saying he's a radical lunatic. Janelle Powell posting this 2 days ago. Don't blame Chicago cops. Chicago's mayor and J.B. Pritzker tied their hands. They can't help ICE, and they can't share info, can't hold illegals. The officers want to protect us, but the politicians protect criminals. Tagging Illinois Review, Next News Network, Roger Stone, and more. Posting a special order, a picture of a special order responding to incidents involving citizenship states. It's hard to read this. This must be the order she's referring to that prevents them from cooperating with ICE. Here is another video of a ride-along for Operation Midway Blitz. Fox News rode along as ICE agents took down this illegal who's charged with assault and reentry. And I can guarantee you, it wasn't ICE agents randomly driving down the street profiling people.
To go into sanctuary.
Get out, man. Operation Midway Blitz is surging in the Windy City.
Stop resisting.
Fox cameras were rolling early this morning as ICE agents served a criminal arrest warrant on this Mexican national facing charges of assault and re-entering the U.S. on multiple occasions. Officials say he will be federally prosecuted and could serve jail time before being deported.
This is an opportunity for us to go into sanctuary cities and work against these sanctuary city policies and not let them deter ICE from being able to do our work.
On Monday, Fox got an exclusive ride-along with ICE's deputy director. Her agents apprehending a 43-year-old illegal alien from Mexico, convicted last year of sexually assaulting a child with force. He is facing a swift deportation. The operation was launched in honor of Katie Abraham, a young Chicago woman killed in January, allegedly by an illegal alien from Guatemala accused of driving drunk. He is now awaiting trial. Katie's father, heartbroken and angry at Illinois leaders refusing to work with the Trump administration.
It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other, and you don't go to your corners. If that's leadership,
we have no leadership then.
Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, are mounting a fierce resistance to the federal crackdown.
The federal crackdown is underway. Here's J.B. Pritzker 48 hours ago. He posts that Trump is trying to set a trap. Illinoisians are not falling for it. Let me be clear, there is no emergency in Chicago that requires the National Guard.
I would say, well, let me be clear that if I pick up the phone and call Donald Trump, that will become part of a case in court that I somehow was calling him for help. And therefore, it will become predicate to him sending military troops into the state of Illinois. If I called him, I would say exactly what I have said to all of you. By the way, he hasn't called me either. And he doesn't seem to want to talk directly to me. He just wants to talk to television cameras and berate the people of Chicago and berate the people of Illinois and attack the city of Chicago. And I reject that entirely, and it doesn't deserve any response except the one that I have given, which is this is no joke. Donald Trump is doing something that's not normal, and we should not accept it in this country. It's un-American. It's anti-American what Donald Trump is doing. Well, let me be clear that if I pick up...
No, he's only following the law, enforcing the law. There's no emergency in the city, yet we have this video on Michigan Avenue, Louis Vuitton store, getting looted. Trump sent the troops, Anton Daniels writing, Trump sent the troops to Chicago and people are saying they don't care and are prepared for ICE.
Well, y'all talking about Mariah DeSantis. Oh, yeah, they outside for real.
You know, I don't claim to know everything, but I do know this. Chicago is not D.C. Mark my words, Chicago is not D.C. I have been there. I know these people, and Chicago is not D.C. This is going to be a shit show.
The National Guard is now officially in Chicago, Illinois. Now, there's a lot of videos floating around. I've seen videos, they got YNs on rooftops. And all I'm saying is, our military nowadays, it ain't like back in the day. You have to understand, from what we're hearing out here, these soldiers can't even do 20 push-ups. These soldiers, they look flimsy. So, all I'm saying is, y'all keep it peaceful. I don't want to hear nobody got hurt. And y'all stay your ass in the house, man.
Chicago's in fucking shambles right now.
It's on. Midway Blitz is in full effect. And we will continue to track this. If you have value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what law and order looks like when politicians abandon their duty. Chicago police have their hands tied by sanctuary policies, can't share intel, can't hold illegals, can't help ICE. The cops want to protect citizens, but Pritzker and Brandon Johnson protect criminals instead. So Trump sent in the cavalry. Operation Midway Blitz isn't asking permission. Federal agents are kicking down doors, seizing illegal weapons tied to murders, and dragging Venezuelan gang members out of their rat holes. And the footage is brutal. Gangbangers who terrorize neighborhoods finally meeting federal justice. Meanwhile, Pritzker whines about traps, while Maryland's Democrat governor begs for federal help in Baltimore. And the contrast is clear. Some leaders want orders, others want chaos. And those tanks rolling through Westmont, they aren't for show. They're heading for Great Lakes Naval Base with more firepower staging at Rock Island Armory. So here's the question. Should sanctuary city politicians be charged as accomplices when their policies enable violent crime? Sound off below. And if you want to support law and order, hit up our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wow. All right. Moving right along. Thank you guys for sticking around with us tonight. We are definitely in strange times. And our next topic is certainly strange. Very strange. Because they have found life on Mars, apparently. We're going to get you the press conference, I believe we have. Yes, here it is. Signs of life on Mars. NASA just shattered 70 years of denial. The Perseverance rover's Sapphire Canyon sample contains what they're calling potential biosignature. Translation, they found evidence of ancient life on Mars. Not speculation, not theory, actual organic compounds preserved in Martian clay. But that's only the beginning. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb says an interstellar comet Atlas is not a comet, and it's an intelligently designed craft that's approaching Mars. Congressional UAP hearings occurred this week, exposing Pentagon officials admitting they've been lying about extraterrestrial evidence for decades. Former Air Force intel specialist Dylan Borland called their denials a psyop. The walls of secrecy are crumbling, and what they're about to reveal changes everything, so stay locked in. Now, a message from our sponsor. Imagine an opportunity that could grow your wealth while also strengthening your country's future, and that's the vision behind Western Star Resources. Western Star Resources is an experienced, publicly traded gold and silver exploration company with a proven track record of advancing high-potential projects. The company combines deep geopolitical expertise with modern exploration techniques to unlock value in some of North America's most prospective mineral regions. With domestic demand for precious metals continuing to rise, and with the U.S. government backing stronger domestic exploration, Western Star Resources is positioned for the next stage of growth. Check them out in the link in the description, westernstarresources.com. Now, this happened 24 hours ago. NASA found signs of life on Mars. They've just revealed what they have found. Listen.
The scientific community. And the scientific community that will, in essence, pressure test what we think we've found. So we're talking about Perseverance. This was a mission sent to Mars under President Trump's first presidency. And a year ago, we found a sample, and it was, again, we're exploring in places where there were rivers and where there were lakes. And much as on Earth, we think that that's where we'd see signs of ancient life on Mars. And so a year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface. And so we put it out to our scientific friends to pressure test it, to analyze it, and go, did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars. And the
can't find another explanation. Every discovery on Mars, NASA science writes, brings us closer to our next giant leap with Artemis. Perseverance Sapphire Canyon sample may hold signs of ancient microbial life collected from river-carved valley-rich organics and key elements. Some of the visuals that have been circulating here. This is the sample that they believe holds the evidence of microbial life on Mars. The Perseverance team discovered the rock formation in an ancient, now dry riverbed in Jezero Crater, and instruments revealed it's composed of clay and silt. On Earth, these are excellent preservers of past microbial life. This appears to be a Mars representation billions of years ago. And then present day, riverbed dries up, Perseverance rover shows up and discovers the clay. Now, Gary Ostlund writes, for the time being, it would appear NASA may have found signs of ancient life on Mars. Now, if accurate, it's just microbial life, nothing advanced, not even plants or animals, but nonetheless. Potential biosignature on Mars has been confirmed. We're now more certain than ever that our Perseverance Sapphire Canyon sample could contain signs of ancient microbial life. We have this from Ashton Forbes, one of my favorite follows on X and YouTube. Of course, he says there's life on Mars. This has been known since we detected seasonal methane well over a decade ago. A couple of scientists did a study just reviewing NASA's images and clearly showed bacteria growing on the rover and possibly fungi. As per usual, you're told to ignore what you see with your own eyes and blindly trust authority. If there is life on Mars, life is abundant in the universe. So they're showing what he believes is fungus growing on the rover. You can see it here. Figure 7, portion of the ChemCam deck. Photographed days later, the growth of fungi and bacteria. Same here, rover Curiosity. The interior flooring and shelter exposed after 51 Martian days. Possible fungi contamination or biocorrosion of the interior walls. Specimens have not moved in relation to one another measured from the center of the specimens. Instead, they have expanded and become significantly closer together. Specimens have increased in size, moved in relation to another. Fungal growth. NASA has found life on Mars. And Elon Musk, as you know, wants to send a manned mission to Mars.
If we're lucky, well, and all goes well, how soon before we can do a first uncrewed trip to Mars?
If we're lucky, we've probably got about a 50% chance of sending ships from Earth to Mars at the end of next year. So November, December next year, in about 18 months.
Wow. Is that realistic or is that Elon time?
Well, I try to give the 50th percentile. You should expect half the time I'm wrong.
Well, and all...
Half the time I'm wrong. The first Starship to Mars will be named Heart of Gold. Elon Musk talking about building civilizations on Mars. But with respect to the UAP hearing, witnesses told Representative Anna Paulina Luna that they're afraid of being killed if they testify about UAPs. Something strange happened to David Grush after leaving a skiff, now law enforcement matter.
That he was acting, and every single witness we had reached out to said that they didn't want to testify because they were scared for their life. And these were not people that you see in the media. These were not, podcasters or anyone who's made a career talking about it. These were legitimate, former military and/or military contractors, and they were literally afraid of being killed. And then you had David Grush tell us directly that he was actually, felt in fear of his life, and weird things had happened prior to that first hearing. And then I would encourage all of you to actually reach out to him, because even just yesterday, I actually went into the skiff with David Grush and Eric Burleson. And prior to that skiff meeting happening, there was something really bizarre that took place with David Grush, and it's being handled at the law enforcement level. But, things like that happening, and every single witness we had reached.
And here is expert analysis of the Hellfire UAP video played in Congress yesterday. It'll blow your mind. The evidence strongly indicates it was not a balloon and no known craft.
That became right. Make impact right there with the UFO, and you appear to see what looks like debris. Make impact right there with the UFO, and you appear to see what looks like debris falling off the thing, like it broke into several pieces. Well, as you're going to see very clearly, there's no doubt that those were not just random pieces of debris. Those were flying objects that were knocked out of the center of that UFO off the coast of Yemen that became right there aerodynamic and started following the UFO as it continued on. It survived the direct hit right there from a Hellfire missile. How does something like that happen? I want to show you guys something real quick. A remark that was made to Congress yesterday about the Hellfire missile. Here we go. Are you aware of anything in the U.S. arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this and do whatever that blob thing did and then keep going? And the witnesses testified that no U.S. technology is capable of surviving such a strike. So continuing on, this thing, whatever it was, should not have survived that impact. But as you can see, it did survive, and 3 objects came out of the inside of the UFO. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. At first, from a distance, you would think, okay, following the strike from the Hellfire missile, it probably broke pieces off of the UFO, UAP, whatever it was. Here we're going in super, super tight. You can see I'm using a different format. It's turned the UFO black. It wasn't necessarily black. I'm not quite sure what color it was because primarily we were working with black and white footage the entire time. This format, however, did turn it black. I zoomed in as close as I could. The clarity remained pretty decent. I managed to increase the clarity just a little bit, but right there it is up close. And you're going to see the strike right there. Notice again what happens right there following the impact. Those things there, whatever they are, appear to have been knocked from the inside of this thing. And as you're going to see when we zoom in close, and you can tell right here, they're all the same size and same shape. Look at that. What are those things? Those are not just random pieces of debris. Those are some sort of intelligently designed objects. Here we go again, slow motion, zoomed in, there they are. And the primary UFO remained intact. It released 3 more smaller ones that ended up traveling behind it. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It is what it is. Right there it is. But what is it? What were they? They appeared to survive. And as the witness testified, nothing should have been able to survive that direct impact. Here we go. Different format. I pulled out just a little bit to show the Hellfire making contact with the UAP. This is a much different format. And we're going to zoom in a little bit closer, take a couple of looks at the Hellfire making impact. It does indeed impact what appears to be the back half of this unknown object flying off the coast of Yemen. Right there it makes impact. You can see it knocks it off course. And as you're going to see, somehow or another, right there following the impact, these 3 objects appear in the sky following the primary object right there. Wow. So the primary target turned into not only 1, but 4 targets now. There's 1, 2, 3, now 4. Make impact right there with the UFO.
Unbelievable. That was video shown at the UAP hearing. And then we have this 24 hours ago. John Basham posting that Harvard University astrophysicist Avi Loeb says interstellar comet 3I Atlas may actually be an intelligently designed alien craft, and he has multiple scientific reasons to believe that to be true. Loeb says we will know soon as it approaches Mars and we get higher resolution images.
Galileo Project. My next guest, Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, has suggested the 3I Atlas is actually some type of alien technology sent here from another solar system. And he's come on the show before to lay out the scientific reasoning behind that startling hypothesis. Well, this weekend he made headlines again when he said that the object could actually be on a mission to release, quote, mini probes that could invade Earth. Avi Loeb joins us now. He's head of the Galileo Project, director of Harvard University's Institute for Theory and Computation, also the best-selling author of the book Extraterrestrial. Okay, I'll bite. What are these mini probes you're talking about, and how would this even be possible?
Well, there are 2 possibilities. If it's a technological object, then it might maneuver itself. We haven't seen such a maneuver so far. But the other possibility is that it may release some other objects that reach the planets, and it will continue along its course. to the next star. And we just need to keep our eyes on the ball, the way that basketball coaches often say to the team members, because we don't know, but it may well be just a rock which has some ice on the surface that evaporates, in which case we will say it's natural. You know, I defined a new scale last month that is now called the Loeb scale, where 0 is a natural object and 10 is a technological object. And at this point, I give it around a 4. But if it looks like a comet as it comes closer to the sun, I'll reduce the rank closer to 0.
Well, 4 is not 10, so it's actually, you think there's more of a shot that it really is actually just a comet?
Yeah, the reason was that the inferred size of the object was huge. It was between 20 and 46 kilometers, unless there is a dense cloud of dust around it that is scattering sunlight. This is an object, if that is the size of it, that is 1 million times more massive than the previous interstellar objects we've seen, and that's quite unlikely. There is not enough material in interstellar space to bring such a huge
the fact
object.
that it's unusually large is what's making you doubt that or at least be open to the possibility that it's not just a comet?
That's one aspect. And the second is that the trajectory is aligned with the plane of the planets around the sun. Now, we will get a good image of it when it comes close to Mars on October 3rd. We don't need to wait a lot. And there is a camera called HiRISE on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that can image it with a pixel resolution of 30 kilometers. So we should be able to tell how much light is reflected off the object and from that infer its size. And I very much look forward to that. You know, the fun of doing science is that we are guided by evidence and not prejudice.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is asking NASA to monitor 3I Atlas and to send an orbital spacecraft even closer to it as it passes. That would give, what are the chances that NASA will agree to do that? Because that would certainly give us even more data, right? Even more images.
Yeah, this came because she actually spoke with me on the phone, and I mentioned
so
the
you
paper
put her up to it.
Yeah, and I suggested doing that. NASA has a number of facilities that it can use in space to get us more data, and she did send a formal letter to Sean Duffy, the interim administrator of NASA. We are very much in line in terms of the way we think about this object and about the UAP that, in fact, Representative Luna is the chair of the task force that tomorrow will host a hearing.
So did...
Yeah, we are living in a very bizarre timeline. The big picture on UAP secrecy, George Knapp throws down. It was a powerful UAP hearing, great witnesses. Clip by my pals at Saucer on Insta.
Institutionalized. I think there's probably multiple reasons. At the start, when these things first started invading our skies in large numbers, we were scared. It was right after World War II, and we didn't know what they were, and they didn't want to panic the public, and that was probably a good call. Over time, I think the lying sort of became institutionalized, you know. Flights over Washington, D.C. in 1952, they're seen, they're captured on radar, jets are chased after these objects, and then we get an explanation it was a temperature inversion. And those kind of lies have been told for a long time. What was told to me by an investigator from Congress, a guy named Richard D'Amato, who was sent after this story by Robert Byrd and Harry Reid, he came out to Nevada, tried to get into Area 51, did get in there, looked around, talked to people, trying to get to the bottom of it. He believed that this program, reverse engineering, etc., was inside, had been moved inside these corporations. And he said, when this comes out, people are going to go to prison. And he meant people who were basically misusing legitimate national security funds, tens of billions of dollars, in order to keep this cover-up going. I also believe there's a legitimate reason for the cover-up in that there is undeniable connection of national security involved in this technology. If we are racing for it to master that technology against the Russians and the Chinese, which is what I have been told by Senator Reid and many others, then it is a race that's critical to our survival. There could be a form of disclosure, I think. Yes, it's real, it's from somewhere else, without revealing all the details that would allow someone else to have an advantage in the race for this technology. I think there's probably multiple.
Wow. Alien life found in Mars. Here's Dylan Borland from the UAP hearing.
Let anything
terrestrial is we have to go to that planet, acquire technology, bring it back, and compare it to what we have here.
So you're saying they won't let anything out because, or they won't come forward unless they confirm that unless they go to the planet and confirm where its origin is.
That would be scientific evidence, yes. And by that statement, Arrow found no scientific evidence of extraterrestrials is basically, I don't want to call it a psyop, but a misrepresentation, because we do have things. But making that statement is not technically a lie. It's a misrepresentation of the full truth. Terrestrial is we have to go to that planet, acquire technology, bring it back, and compare it to what we have here.
So you're saying...
Here's Anna Polina Luna at the hearing.
Our duty as elected. In recent months, Congress has also been presented with evidence that points to technologies that, to our knowledge, are beyond our current capabilities. It is our duty as elected representatives to follow the facts wherever they lead and to ensure that those facts are not buried under classification stamps or bureaucratic excuses. Let me be clear, whether UAPs represent adversarial technology, natural phenomena, or something beyond current human understanding, Congress has a responsibility to investigate. If these objects are foreign in origin, then they pose a direct threat to our national security. And if they represent something unknown, they demand rigorous scientific inquiry, not ridicule, not secrecy, and not silence. The stakes are very high. Adversarial nations are not waiting for us to catch up. They are studying these phenomena as well aggressively, as multiple nations have also announced their own parliamentary investigations into this very topic. If we are to continue to hide information from ourselves, we risk strategic surprise. If we continue to ignore our pilots and service members, as well as countless government whistleblowers, we risk losing their trust. And if we continue to shield the truth from the public, we risk eroding the very foundation of democratic accountability. This is why this hearing matters. This is not about fueling speculation. This is about demanding the basic transparency from the Department of Defense and the intelligence community and other military contractors. It is about asking the questions every American has the right to ask. What do we know? What don't we know? And why in a free society are we being told so little?
And how crazy is it that this hearing took place just days before NASA presented their findings on microbial life discovered on Mars? If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So Mars is talking to us. And the message is clear. We are not alone. NASA's potential biosignature language is bureaucratic speak for what scientists have suspected for years life existed on the red planet. The Sapphire Canyon sample isn't just interesting geology. It's proof that Earth isn't unique. Organic compounds preserved in ancient riverbed clay waiting millions of years for us to find them, but here's what's explosive, the timing. Just as NASA admits Martian life, Harvard's Avi Loeb tracks an intelligently designed object approaching Mars. Congressional whistleblowers expose decades of UFO cover-ups. Former Air Force intel calls official denials a psyop. They are rolling out disclosure because they can't hide it anymore. Ashton Forbes showed evidence of bacteria growing on our rovers, life finding us, not the other way around. So here's the question. Is NASA slow-walking full disclosure to prevent panic, or are they being forced to reveal the truth? Tell me below. Let's continue the conversation and get some next news gear before the truth gets buried. Again, you'll find a link below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, what are you guys saying? Science is marketing most lies for profit. Red Planet, we got more votes, right? They are full of crap as usual and always been, says Displeased Badger. Thank you, Karen, for posting the link. Oh, great, Jeremy says. I can imagine how the after show will be on Discord tonight. Yeah. It's the Trump effect. The truth, tell the truth or get fired. Slow roll, says Patricia. The most reliable way to predict the future is to create it. Abraham Lincoln. Panic. Mars attacks. Todd says it's real. And a $2 super chat came in from Daniel Meets the Lion. Sent you an important message through your site. Okay, I'll see if I can track that. Daniel, thank you. So, Patriots, we've just witnessed the unraveling of everything they told us was stable and secure. Charlie Kirk gunned down by a sniper while the FBI pursues every lead from the evidence that they've gathered. Iryna Zarutska butchered by a 14-time arrestee because judges valued his freedom over her life. Chicago, under federal occupation as Operation Midway Blitz tears through sanctuary city lies. And above it all, NASA finally admits what we've suspected: we are not alone in this universe. These are not isolated incidents. They are connected threads in a tapestry of transformation. Kirk warned us about the soft-on-crime insanity just before they silenced him forever. His final message about Iryna's killer walking free now reads like prophecy. The federal crackdown in Chicago proves Trump meant every word about restoring order. And the Mars revelation? That's the cosmic wild card that they're playing while our world burns. So think about it. Kirk's assassination employed precision, planning, and professional execution. Iryna's murder exposed a justice system so corrupt that career criminals are protected more than innocent refugees. The Chicago operation revealed that only federal force can break the stranglehold sanctuary cities have on law enforcement. And NASA's biosignature discovery arrives precisely when government credibility hits rock bottom. So to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight, you guys are the show and your voices matter. Your reactions drive our coverage. Tomorrow we will be digging deeper into whatever breaks overnight, because in this timeline, every sunrise brings fresh chaos. The establishment wants you demoralized. They want you believing resistance is futile. They assassinate truth tellers, free predators, deploy troops against citizens, and drip feed cosmic revelations to distract from Earth's tyranny. But here's what they didn't count on. Americans don't break that easy. Charlie Kirk's vigils prove that love conquers hate. Iryna's memory mobilizes millions demanding justice. Federal agents defying sanctuary policies show that good still fights evil. And the NASA admission reminds us that we are part of something bigger than their petty power games. Tell a friend about the Raw feed. Text in the link. Share it on every platform, because mainstream media will not tell these truths. They will spin, deflect, and memory hole everything that we've exposed today. Before you go, hit up the shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, grab a shirt, rock some gear, and show the world that you stand with independent media when it matters the most. Thank you to everyone who joined the Raw feed today. Thank you for your super chats, your rumble rants, your shares, your passion. This is bigger than a show. It is a movement. And movements don't die with one person. They multiply. Tomorrow we'll be back with more explosive truth. Same time, same channels, same commitment to exposing what they desperately want hidden, because as long as you keep watching, we will keep fighting. Until then, stay strong, stay vigilant, and stay free, because we will see you on the next show. This is Gary Franchi signing off for the Next News Network.